Baseball's biggest surprise this season, the Minnesota Twins. 57-33, second best record in the big leagues, and a 5-game lead in the American League Central with baseball's lowest payroll. Ironically, Mark McGwire's next target on the all-time home run list is former Twin Harmon Killebrew. Will Big Mac continue his assault against the Red Hot Twins? A Sunday interleague matinee next on WB11. Beautiful day downtown. The Cards coming off a win and an unusual start of a 3-game series here on a Sunday. Big crowd on hand, and the high-flying Twins of Minnesota in town to take on the Cardinals. Minnesota having a great start to the season, and Cardinal fans are ready for this one today. It's a beautiful Sunday downtown, Rawlings Bet Day, and a lot of kids are taking home some great wooden souvenirs. Bob and Al, Rich Gould is with us as well. How about this Minnesota club, Al? A couple of years ago, the Cardinals said baseball like it ought to be. Maybe that's the theme, because these guys are a pretty sound, fundamental team.
Well, they really are, and this is a franchise that many people were trying to say would be dissolved or definitely moved. They have one of the best managers in all of baseball, and he gets the most out of his young talent. They are young. He was patient with them, and now they're coming through. They're 24 games over 500. They're in first place in the Central Division, and they're doing it with old-fashioned baseball. These young guys wanting to play.
And they've also done it without one of their best players, David Ortiz, who's been out most of the season with a bad wrist. Now their shortstop, Christian Guzman, is on the DL. That's their closer, LaTroy Hawkins. And the Twins have a 5-game lead. Cubbies 3 in the NL Central, the AutoZone division standings. It's the Yankees by 1.5 games over Boston. And of course, Braves and Phillies are right there. Seattle and Arizona in the West, respectively. And nobody's got a lead like Seattle. Now, how about our Cardinals coming off that win yesterday? 3 homers, but the bats still really aren't booming yet, Al, in terms of putting base hits together.
That's right. 3 solo home runs, and once again, the ball club has trouble winning if it doesn't score more than 3 runs. But they got a victory yesterday. One of the key things to me, and it's pertaining to today, is they've got to start winning the first game of the series. They've been getting behind, losing that first game, and then it's always playing catch-up. But it all starts with starting pitching. We got Dustin. He's got big shoulders, and he needs to shoulder the load.
First things first, get back to 500 today. Take it from there. Rawlings Bet Day at the ballpark. Rich Gould will join us in a minute.
Joining us now, Paul Molitor, a team without a large payroll that just keeps winning games. How are you doing it?
Well, I'll tell you, it's been real pleasurable as a coach on this team, because we're doing it the old-fashioned way. We're doing the little things that it takes to win games. We never win by very much, and we never seem to get beat by very much, because our pitching keeps us in the game. We catch the ball, we move runners along. Occasionally mix in the home run, but we have to rely more on clutch hitting. And it's a nice combination. Things have been going much better than anybody could have expected, and we hope we can sustain it during the second half.
You have fond memories of this ballpark in '82 with the Brewers. I remember Paul Molitor getting 5 hits in the World Series.
Well, part of the memories are fond. You know, no question, coming here for my first World Series appearance back almost 20 years ago now, it was very special, and getting 5 hits in that first game, always will remember that. Unfortunately, we came back and lost games 6 and 7, but still was a very positive experience. The baseball fans in St. Louis were outstanding then. They have a tremendous tradition, and no question, one of the best baseball cities in America.
Thank you, Paul. Good luck to you. Good luck to the Twins the rest of the way.
Yeah, you have a good day.
Okay, Paul Molitor joining us on a perfect day for baseball. Cards and Twins coming up.
Cardinal baseball on WB11, brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up, never let you down, make it a Bud Light. By AutoZone, the right part, the right price, and good advice. By your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on WB11. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. For tires and complete auto service, all you need is Dobbs. And by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 30 years of freedom, 30 years. One mission, low fares.
You see
what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
How about that? That's Christian recording artist Randy Mayfield. His daughter Amanda, his son Justin. They always do a great job here on Christian Family Day. We had that yesterday at the ballpark. And today on Sunday, it's a matinee, Cardinals and the Minnesota Twins. Kids got to take the field, each with a Cardinal at every position today. Tom Kelly and the Minnesota Twins. Evidently TK going over some ground rules with his guys. I would assume that's his leadoff man, Matt Lawton, who also plays right field. Tom Kelly has not had a winning season in a long, long time. More on that as we go through the day. And the Southwest Airlines starting lineup. It'll be Matt Lawton, Luis Rivas, and Doug Minkiewicz, a great young hitter. Then it's Corey Koski at third, Torrey Hunter in center, and Shop Jones in left. Jason Maxwell, the shortstop. Tom Prince, we remember him from the Pirates, and Joe Mays is the pitcher. For the Cardinals, Dustin Hermanson. He's half of our Chrysler Jeep pitching matchup. And Al, all we need to do is remind Dustin that this is indeed a day game today.
Absolutely. He is 2-1 with a 3.14 ERA and 7 daytime starts. Opponents have batted just 223 off him in the daylight compared to 305 at night. You know, he has lost 6 of his last 7 decisions, but he's pitched solid in his last 3 starts. No wins to show for it. 0-1, but a 2.25 ERA, and he's going to be a big part of the second half.
Cardinals defensively. It's brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Placido Polanco gets the start at third today, and that puts Albert Pujols out in right. Everybody else at their normal positions today. Cardinals are tied for 8th in the league, 59 errors in the year. They've turned 88 double plays. Tony La Russa knows how important this series is. Al, if you can get at least 2 out of 3 here, you're at least back to 500. And then the Cardinals have a couple of big ball games looming Wednesday and Thursday in Houston before they come right back home again. They got to take advantage of this 11 of 13 at home coming out of the All-Star break.
9 games over 500 is the Cardinals' record at home, and you're right. And it all starts with the first game of the series. It's a lot easier to win 1 of 2 if you win the first game of the series. And if you look at the first half, we lost the majority of those first games of the series. So because we lost 2 out of 3 against Detroit, a lowly ball club in the Central, we're going to have to hopefully sweep the Minnesota Twins, who are leading the Central Division of the American League.
Wind blowing toward the arch. Beautiful day. First pitch to Matt Lawton, the right fielder, strike 1.
Look at these Twins. You're going to see a lot of nice little averages. They're, as Paul Molitor said, they know how to play the game. They play small ball.
And it's 0-2 to Matt Lawton. This guy's on base average very good at .418. And he's hit 10 homers, 50 runs batted in. We're checking to see who the umpires are. We thought we had the same crew as we did for the Detroit series, but they've been changed. There's a swing and a foul, a half swing on a fastball upstairs.
Well, a couple of them have been changed.
Well, not all of them.
Yeah.
Evidently Bruce Fremming came in to join, replacing Ed Rapuano. So Bruce is over at first. It is Mark Barron behind the plate. Jerry Meals at second, Phil Cuzzy at third. What was that game time temperature? 87 degrees. Low and away, ball 1.
It's going to be a smoker tomorrow. It starts heating up here in St. Louis.
1-2 to Matt Lawton, and a breaking ball misses outside. Here's something we hope we don't talk about too much today, but it's something to consider. Dustin Hermanson against left-handed batters is really getting clubbed around with everything but his fastball. He throws a fastball, it's popped up. Matheny, now Polanco, Placido making the call as he should for the first out.
We listen to the sounds of the infielders communicating. Where Dustin is the traffic cop, he'll try to dictate who he wants to take the ball, and then as Polanco started yelling, you saw that Matheny vacated the area.
And what you heard there was Polanco saying, I got it, and then Hermanson saying, Poli, 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 which is Placido's nickname on the Cardinal club. And so that first out, there's one good little infielder, and here's another, Luis Rivas, who's playing second base for the Twins right now. This guy's got a 5-game hitting streak. And a 1-0 pitch is golfed into right field for Albert Pujols. Polanco the first out, Pujols the second, and a good start for Dustin Hermanson. What I was talking about earlier, left-handed batters this year against his breaking ball hitting over 450. And then against his changeup hitting right around 350. And with that in mind, left-hander Doug Minkiewicz walks in. This guy was hitting 400 in the first 6 to 7 weeks of the season. He's tailed off since then, but he's hanging in very nicely with a batting mark of 310. Like J.D. Drew, he's a former Seminole from Florida State.
Everybody had to learn his last name. Then the last couple weeks they forgot it, and now we have to re-educate ourselves again.
This guy's solid. He's a very good first baseman with the glove too. Low and inside, 2-0.
Young man who's disappointing a year ago, sent to the minor leagues, but didn't hang his dauber. He kind of reevaluated himself, came out swinging this year, and got off to that torrid start.
Here's a 2-0. Up and away, ball 3. Cardinals will have to be good today. They're facing an outstanding young all-star pitcher. We'll give you a look at him in a moment. Hoping that Cardinal offense will finally start coming alive here. Big crowd. Here's the 3-0. It's a 4-pitch walk to Doug Minkiewicz. Joe Mays is 11-5 with the 3rd best earned run average in the American League at 3.02. And he's a 4-pitch pitcher, Al, who can do some different things with his fastball as well.
He's the kind of guy that had to learn at the major league level last year. He kind of got beat up a little bit. He was 7-15. Won a pair of games and 2 decisions at the AAA level, but we'll talk more about what's turned him around.
There's a heartbreaking ball fouled by Corey Koski, the 3rd baseman. This guy's a typical twin, and by that I mean he's a homegrown twin, a 26th-round draft choice in '94. Minkiewicz was a 5th-round draft choice in '95. Denny Hocking, who's on the bench today, goes way back to '89. Torrey Hunter, '93 first-round draft choice. Jacques Jones, 2nd-rounder in '96. And the man we've already seen, Matt Lawton, a 13th rounder in '91. It's one of the reasons the Twins have a low payroll. They don't go out and sign high-price free agents, but they have spent some money the last couple of years on their pitchers. They gave Brad Radke a real nice contract to keep him, and then that kind of got him going, Al, on that pitching side.
See a 500 record in his career against Tony La Russa. 2 very respected managers.
Yeah, with great respect for each other. Here's the 0-1 outside. That evens the count.
The Twins, they won the World Championship in '91, and then that might be the last year they've had a 500 or winning record.
You are correct, sir. No, actually, the next year they went 90-72 in '92. Didn't win the division, but that was the last time they've had a winning season. There's a drive to center for a base hit. Looked like Hermanson left one up high, and Corey Koski punished that ball out into right center. 2 on, 2 out for the Twins.
Well, I think you talked about it. The ineffectiveness against left-handers is just bad location. Getting pitches where they can handle it, not in on their hands or anything, but get out where they get the extension. These guys have been hitting some home runs of late, but for the most part, they play low hands baseball. They move runners along. They're very good in situational hitting.
Here's Torrey Hunter, batting fifth, the center fielder. This guy's got some pop. He misses a breaking ball.
You know, Bob, we talk about these club, and the point being, when they haven't had a winning season since '92, is Tom Kelly's had to be a lot of patience.
Not only that, Al, how about the organization being patient with Tom Kelly? How many managers could have 8 or 9 straight losing seasons and still have their job?
Well,
most can't have more than 1 or 2.
Well, unless you have the reputation that Kelly has, and he won the World Championship in '87 and '91, really kind of turnaround type years.
Beat the Cardinals in '87, the Braves in '91.
They didn't give him much to work with. That's now small market, small payroll. If you think about the entire payroll, as you see, as Torrey Hunter has been hot, their entire payroll is equal to what Alex Rodriguez's contract averages for one season.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Target outside. It's low on outside. Bank of America takes us inside the numbers every time we're on the air. How about this one? The Twins 3rd in batting, 4th in runs, 9th in homers, but they're 3rd in speed and a solid 6th in the American League in team ERA. So they don't totally dominate you, but they're solid in a lot of different areas, and that pitching is the #1 thing.
But think about that pitching in a homer dome. You know, so they have a ballpark that is very difficult to hold the opposition down, and yet they're extremely respectable in the very potent American League.
The ball really carries inside the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, and the Twins have a home record of 33-14.
Tom Kelly knew that he had the nucleus to have a very good pitching staff.
Runners go, and a little flare out to center. Edmonds is there. Jimmy's got it, and the Twins will strand a couple. That's a good start on a beautiful day for Cardinal baseball. Downtown St. Louis, here come the Cards with the bats. Tony La Russa's Cardinals waiting and waiting for some offense, and maybe today's the day. Southwest Airlines starting lineup: Cardinals 6th in runs, or rather batting average, 10th in runs, 7th in homers, and Jimmy Edmonds really in a big-time slump again. Not much contact, and the best Cardinal hitter right now, believe it or not, Ray Lankford, with a 5-game hitting streak, 7 for his last 16. That's our Southwest Airlines starting lineup. And the other half of our Chrysler Jeep pitching matchup today features Joe Mays, the 25-year-old all-star right-hander for the Twins.
Well, he's been outstanding with those 11 wins. ERA just over 3. You see how many innings he has worked, a real workhorse. And he has just been pitching very, very well of late.
Twins defensively, top 6 in the American League, brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. They're without their regular shortstop, Christian Guzman, who's got a bad shoulder. They just put him on the DL. And, of course, they've been without David Ortiz most of the season, who's one of their really outstanding players. But they are solid defensively. Good pitching. There's a Vigna bunt. There's a Vigna hit. And the leadoff man's aboard. He says, okay, boys, welcome to St. Louis. I'm going to show you how I can drag one down the line. Boy, Al, does anybody do it better in baseball right now?
Not at all. You see how he catches it perfectly. He bunts it hard enough to get by the pitcher, but yet it'll die on the grass before that second baseman can get to it. So, and then if they want to defense it, then it opens up more hitting lanes. So anytime he wants to take advantage and drop a bunt down, you say more power to you. Little things like that really excite teammates. They get the crowd into it, and you talk about manufacturing runs. That's what they're going to have to do.
Cardinals and the Cubbies, most infield hits in the National League. How about the Rockies with 89? Does that mean the infielders play too deep at Coors Field as well? Here's Polanco. Good hit and run situation. A lot of hitting room on the right side as Minkiewicz holds Vigna, and Rivas cheats up the middle a bit for a possible double play ball. This is a tailor-made situation for Placido Polanco. We'll see how the Twins pitch. Will they try to jam him to keep him from hitting it over there? First target will be outside. And the fastball misses out there, ball one.
Now let's see if we can start making things happen. When a ball club does not hit, you know, everything looks in slow motion. It looks like the team's not hustling. It looks like it's not trying. So sometimes as a manager, you can start a running game. There's Mitchell Page, new hitting coach.
Vina running, swinging a line drive, off the glove of Rivas. Vina to third, and the Cardinals get a break. That would have been a double play. Instead, Rivas has to go off the very end of his glove, and the Cardinals get the speed game going early today.
All right, that's really nice, but that's the one thing you got to guard against is you worry about the line drive turning into a double play. He catches this ball, there's no way Vina can get back. But there are a couple of factors. You have to have a batter that has bat control, a guy that has the ability to go up the middle or to the right side, and also you have to have a pitcher that throws strikes, is around the strike zone. And all three of those components have to come together if you're going to have consistency in the hit and run.
First and third, nobody out. Jim Edmonds shaken up a bit yesterday, and he fouls one on a play. Al, the play at home plate yesterday. You talked to Jim. How is he feeling after all this?
Well, the bases were loaded, one out. He's got to come home on the ground ball. He tried to hook the catcher and try to disrupt him so he couldn't complete the throw to first or maybe get a double play. And what he did is he ended up hitting the inside of his right knee and kind of pushed the kneecap, and there's a little nerve there. But moving a little better, but he wanted to be in the lineup today, and we're happy he is.
Jim Edmonds' next RBI will be number 50. Next homer will be number 14. And a batting average, it needs to get about 10 or 15 points from where it is now, up around that 300 mark. 1-1 the count. Polanco a short lead at first. And it's way outside, ball two.
Now we look at this situation. If you probably were to ask about one thing, there you see his numbers before the break. And remember, he was very good. I think it was 338 hitting at home. So you see most of his damage is home, but he's slow start coming out since the second half.
2-1 pitch out of play. And Jimmy had an interesting season, Al, last year. Mark McGwire hurt a lot during the second half. He only hit 188 in August, and after July the 6th, he only hit around 240.
So it's been nearly a year that he hasn't hit a lot well. There you see 333, 9 home runs, 33 RBIs in the home games, and got off to a good start on the road, but really tailed off as well as the club. And you can look at May 17th as the drop-off date.
High fly ball out of play.
But wouldn't you think that if you were to say what situation is the Cardinals' downfall in the first half would be these type of hitting situations? Few times Tony's hitters would only be able to get a sacrifice fly, but very few times could they get multiple runs.
2-2 pitch again. Good job by Edmonds of laying off that breaking ball. Tom Prince kept it close, and that kept Polanco at first base. Now you've got a 3-2 with McGwire on deck. You don't want to give in to Jim Edmonds here if you're a right-handed pitcher. And evidently the youngster Mays and the veteran Prince have been working very well together.
Yeah, and it really goes back to last year. Joe Mays was 7-15. Tom Prince was going to be coming to spring training. They worked together. Mays is from Sarasota, Florida. Prince is from Bradenton. They worked out all winter, and I think Prince has instilled some confidence.
Edmonds strikes out. Looked like an off-speed pitch. Down low, and Jimmy couldn't get it. And now the Twins can get out of this inning with a double play ball. But stepping in, Mark McGwire, who climbed a little further up the home run chart yesterday with 564, off Jose Lima, and now the great twin Harmon Killebrew 9 home runs ahead. So Mark should be number 4 by the time this season is over, and hopefully well on his way to Willie Mays. We'll just have to see about that. Mac finally into double figures with 10 on the year. Joe Mays ready to work to him. Breaking ball, looked outside. Strike one, says Mark Barron.
looked like a big lazy breaking ball. That's one thing Joe Mays, and I'm sure a higher strike zone has helped that pitch for him this year.
Well, it's made it easier to throw breaking balls for strikes this year for a lot of pitchers. Here's the 0-1 fastball, and I'm telling you folks, if Mark McGwire now gets called out on a fastball on the inside corner, he will be right in the face of this umpire, because look at where those pitches are located. Close, if not on, the outside corner.
Or away.
Yeah, and if you know, like guys like to work Mark under his hands when they get him with 2 strikes. Outside target. Way out there, so they go away, away, away. Cardinal fans are all over it.
I was thinking that they would stay out there on the 0-2 pitch, but then maybe come in on the 1-2 pitch.
And if you know, and that's the thing, hitters will tell you, you can't have both sides of the plate. This one is going to be outside again, evidently. That evens the count 2-2.
That's okay if they want to stay out there consistently.
Well, it sort of indicates Tom Kelly doesn't really want any part of McGwire right now. Where's Prince going? Outside again. 2-2 pitch. Low. We'll see if Polanco starts off first with 1 out on a 3-2 pitch. Third best ERA in the American League behind the disabled Pedro Martinez and the knuckleballer Tim Wakefield, both for the Red Sox. 3-2. Polanco running. McGwire takes it. Ball 4. That one might have been better than the ones that were called strikes 1 and 2. Bases loaded, 1 out.
Came in there and like Barron wanted to pull the trigger, but then did not do so.
Yeah, he had the bow and arrow ready to go there, and it evidently was a little low. Now for the Twins, you know Tom Kelly is aware of the fact that Albert Pujols has grounded into 15 double plays this year. Mays off the stretch, breaking ball for a strike. Talked to Albert yesterday, and he says he's feeling a whole lot more comfortable. He hit the home run yesterday that broke Ray Jablonski's all-time Cardinal rookie record of 21.
Hopefully that now that he has that record, he'll just kind of relax. It seemed like getting to the record and now passing has been tough.
Strike 2. Albert doesn't like it.
Albert many times would tell you that if the first pitch he sees off a pitcher, he will take a pitch. Took the first one. I don't think he thought it was a strike, and now I don't think he thought this last one was.
Albert's been pretty good with 2 strikes this year. And he made contact. Got him. A big breaking ball. He walks away this time, and Joe Mays brings him up.
Well, this last one was a strike, and he fools him with his big breaking ball. It was a little better than what they really wanted. So I think he committed himself, and he was at the umpire's mercy, and he didn't get in.
It's up to Ray, and a 5-game hitting streak on the line. How frustrating would this be? Bases loaded, 1 out. It was first and third, nobody out, and Langford takes one outside. Ray with a 7-hit total over his last 5 games, 7 for 16.
Well, you just hope that they really don't have a clear scouting report on Ray Langford with this breaking ball pitcher. And I mean, he's got a good assortment of pitches, but maybe he'll throw a breaking ball too late. Wow, this strike zone is interesting.
This strike zone is as big as your hot zone when you guys do those games on cable. Man.
Wow. Right, you know what? Dustin Hermanson has the opportunity to do the same thing. And, you know, why were you going to throw a pitch down the middle if you're going to see all these wide pitches being called strikes?
1-1 count. Ray hacks, and he hooks it foul.
There was the breaking ball I was talking about.
And the count goes 1-2 on the Cardinal left fielder. Fernando Vina bunt single to start the inning. Polanco a hit and run single, and then Mark McGwire with 1 out walked. Pujols called on strikes after Edmonds struck out swinging before McGwire, and it's 1-2 to Ray Langford. Swing and a miss and a high fastball. Joe May strikes out the side, and the strike zone has been rather large here early. A long first inning and no scoring by either team.
This game, second inning. You great Cardinals fans watching today no doubt have taken notice that the field looks beautiful. Brand new grass, and head groundskeeper Billy Finley joins us. This is brand new, isn't it, Bill? When did you put it in?
Right after they left before the All-Star break, that 14-day road trip that they went on. The day they left, that Thursday was when we stripped it out and we laid it the following Friday.
What kind of grass?
It's a baby Bermuda. It's a dwarf-type Bermuda. You'll see it on a lot of golf courses in this area. We've got it from across the river here in Columbia, Illinois.
And it is tough to grow grass in this area. They always call this the transitional area, don't they, Bill?
Yes, it's a very tough area. Transition's a mild way of putting it. Every year we try to find the secret formula to try to grow grass here in Busch Stadium, and this year we tried a little something different to restart during the season, and so far it's worked out really well.
A little costly too, isn't it, pal?
It's not as costly as you would think. It's a lot cheaper to go local than it would be to bring it up from Florida, as we normally do during the winter time. So it's a lot cheaper to stay local. So this has been the very cost effective for us to do it here locally.
Well, it looks good. Looks great, in fact. Bob, doesn't it?
Sure does, Rich, and that Bermuda will hopefully be able to stand up to the St. Louis summer. Leadoff man aboard, Jacques Jones with a base hit up the middle, top of the second. Next up will be the Twins shortstop, Jason Maxwell. We're going to have a guest with us. In fact, she's already chosen to talk on the air. Don't answer the truck, Judy. My sister Judy is here. Walt Jocketty is a senior administrative assistant. And Judy, see that little thing right there? That's a camera right there. That's our spy cam, Al. That's what we call it.
You definitely.
Judy's going to tell us about the barbecue here at the ballpark next Sunday. Off the stretch, and ball taken low and away. No swing, says Bruce Fremming. Judy, it's a picnic in the park next Sunday for the pinch hitters and the barbecue.
Yes, it is. We're departing from our barbecues from a few years ago, where we had it at the hotel. The younger people in the organization wanted to try something a little bit different. So we're having a picnic on the outfield. And for ticket information, I'm going to give you the number right now. It's 421-3060. Individual tickets are $125, and you will get a beautiful blanket, which you will be sitting on to have your picnic. And we have $500 corporate MVPs and $1,000 corporate sponsors, and those people are going to get a tour of the clubhouse the same evening. Sunday evening after the ballgame.
Wow, that's cool. Here's the blanket. Pinch hitters logo, Cardinals Care logo at the bottom. A picnic in the park at the barbecue next Sunday.
Hey, Bob, we found something I can do.
You held that up well. Very steady, sir.
Thank you.
2 balls and a strike to Jason Maxwell.
I'm sure they'll need that blanket for the summer heat.
And a swing and a foul. Pinch hitters have been around for a long, long time. This is the what annual barbecue?
This is the
barbecue.
39th annual barbecue.
Wow.
And I've been to most of them. I hate to say that, but I have.
and Judy, the pinch hitters get together and they provide a lot of money to some very needy organizations, and who are this year's recipients?
We have 4 of them this year. Almost Home, Churchill School, Howard Park Early Childhood Center, and Youth in Need. And we've kind of partnered with Cardinals Care over the last couple of years. Tim Hanser gets us some wonderful auction items, and so any kind of resources we can get to add to our charities, and it's a good thing. And
Tony kind of twists the arms of a few players, and so you can have several of the Cardinal players in attendance.
Well, I twist his arm, and then he twists their arm. And
you may be the only person around here who can twist Tony's arm.
Well, I told him he's my favorite Italian manager currently working for the Cardinals.
Ball 1 to Tom Prince, 1 on 1 out, top of the second. And again, as Judy said, you can call the Cardinal switchboard today at 421-3060. And if there's no one there to answer your questions or to take your order for tickets, they will take a message and they will get back to you right away, maybe tomorrow.
And there's one thing, Bob, I'd like to add. I think some people are a little concerned about maybe that they can't maneuver the sitting on a blanket in the, in the outfield, that it might be difficult for them to get up, get down, whatever. If they will call in, order their tickets, and tell us that, we will make sure that they have tables, actual tables and chairs to sit at. And we will have tables of 8 set up.
And a breaking ball outside, 2 balls, 1 strike.
And Judy, is going to be a big grand prize winner this year, right?
We're raffling off, that we have a $1 raffle for a trip for 2 for the Cardinals cruise. And
with Al Raboski, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, he's always on that.
Oh, Jack Buck's going this year.
Yeah.
Good.
2-1 pitch. And one hopper to short. Renteria will do it himself. That's a double play. Thanks for coming by, Judy, and we'll continue to talk about it.
Thanks, little brother, and you're grounded.
That's Judy Berta from the Cardinal front office. And an Edgar Renteria 6-3 double play. And the Cardinals are out of it in the top of the second. We are still scoreless. No score, bottom of the second. It'll be Renteria, Matheny, and Hermanson for the Cardinals. Last month, Albert Pujols, another all-star, on the cover of Cardinal Game Day magazine this month. How about some momentum with Matt Morris? You can subscribe right now to Cardinal Game Day magazine. Call 314-982-7336. Steve Zesh and the boys do a wonderful job with that magazine. And not only Matt Morris this month, Renteria pops up his bunt over the screen. You'll get the latest on Mr. Versatility, Placido Polanco. And there's Matty Moe, who was a big winner here yesterday. You can meet Cardinal newcomers Kerry Robinson, Bud Smith, who will pitch tomorrow, and Stubby Clapp. 982-7336, Cardinal Game Day magazine. It's the best team publication in Major League Baseball. Edgar Renteria batting at .235. He's in the hole 0-2 against Joe Mays. Twins beat the Cards 2 of 3 at the Metrodome last year. All time, Cardinals and the Twins in interleague play 6-6. Renteria reaches out and drives one to left, and right there is Jacques Jones.
You know, we think the world of Buddy Bates, and he asked me for a little help. See that 51?
Yeah, Willie McGee's number.
Yeah, well, Buddy has just been taking so much heat. And he said, I want people to know that I held that number 51 out in respect for Willie McGee for an entire year. And it's something that, you know, and then what he'll do is he'll give that number eventually to somebody he thinks is a special young man. And not only talent-wise, but the kind of guy off the field that emulates some of the tendencies of Willie McGee. But, you know, the Cardinals have 10 retired numbers, and you've got to recirculate some of these. But on occasion, when you have a very special person like Willie, he'll hold it out in respect for an entire year. That's what he did with number 51. As much as we love Willie McGee, he doesn't have the career numbers to go into the Hall of Fame or to have that number retired. I know he's a Hall of Famer in all the Cardinal fans' mind, but Buddy just love to have people say, hey, you know, I have all the utmost respect. He even talked to Willie McGee about it, and Willie says, Buddy, I understand. I didn't expect you to even hold it out for a year.
Yeah. Well, Bud Smith will be a special player for the Cardinals. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mike Matheny. And a little tapper foul off to the left. Here's what's on tap, brought to you by Bud Light, the great taste that won't fill you up, never let you down. It'll be Fox Sports Net with coverage tomorrow night. They'll have the pregame show at 6:30. Cardinals and the Twins at 7 o'clock. In that game, Bud Smith and Adam Johnson makes his major league debut. Darryl Kyle 9-7. Kyle Losey on Tuesday. Cardinals tonight at 6:30. And the play-by-play a little after 7. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Matheny. Little tapper. Actually, more than that. It was a little quicker than that. And right there to grab it in good fielding position was Joe Mays. He'll now face Hermanson with 2 outs, bases empty.
toughest thing for a pitcher, delivering a pitch, kind of having your follow through, and then a ball come back at you. A lot of times you have a hard time gauging the velocity of that ball. Joe Mays almost had the ball hit in his glove, and after he held on to it, somewhat of a close hop, he got to first.
Dustin Hermanson, 3 for 31 this year. Goes hacking. He's made big contact a couple of times in his career with 2 home runs. 1 in 97 at Houston off Shane Reynolds, 1 in 98 at San Diego off Sterling Hitchcock. A couple of RBIs this year on his 3 hits. And it's low and away. That evens the count. 1-1. Rather high pitch count early. 33 pitches by Joe Mays, but 2/3 of them strikes. And it's punched to the right side. On a hop, Luis Rivas, and he throws out Hermanson. Cardinals go 1, 2, 3. 5 in a row for Joe Mays. He hooks up with Dustin so far in a scoreless game, and Mays will lead off the 3rd. Cardinals and the Twins, first game of this interleague series. No score. Tuesday night, Cardinals Twins, Six Flags Senior Citizens Night here. All fans with a paid admission receive a free senior citizens ticket for adults 55 and older, and a $12 off an adult general admission ticket. That'll be Senior Citizens Night from Six Flags Tuesday night. Our Bud Sports crew is excited about that one. Top of the 3rd, Joe Mays will lead off. Al and I will be excited about that a couple of years from now. And a swing and a foul by Joe Mays, who as a hitter in the major leagues is 2 for 8. Interesting stance. Way off the plate. This is how guys used to stand a long time ago, Al, when they used big bats to reach out over the plate. These days, everybody with lighter bats a lot closer to home plate.
Or if you're afraid of the ball.
A total of 8 major league at-bats in interleague play for Joe Mays, the young man from Flint, Michigan. Now lives in Bradenton, as Al told you. 1-2 delivery, a swing and a miss, and that's how the 3rd inning gets underway. Dustin Hermanson with his 2nd K.
Reaching for a ball, a lot of movement in there. 2nd strikeout. Hey, you know, one of the things we forgot to tell everybody, we're kind of excited about next Saturday night.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have a little auction on
the air.
On the air. And what we're going to auction off is Bill DeWitt's luxurious, the owner's private suite for 24. We're going to auction that off for a mutually agreeable date. And all the proceeds for the pinch hitters.
Edmonds will take over and call that one off the bat of Matt Lawton, 2 outs. I think last year didn't we got over like $3,000 for that thing, didn't we?
Oh, they did it on radio. I think our TV audience can do it better.
Sure.
It's a good sign to see the Edmonds with that little banged up knee is running well enough where he can call off Renteria, take charge out there.
And 2 quick outs for Dustin Hermanson here in the 3rd. To me, Luis Rivas will be next.
You know, Bob, this is a very important game for the Cardinals, and you can't say enough of how Dustin bowed his neck after missing a scoring opportunity in the 1st inning. He didn't let that sink him, and he's come out here and just doing his job of retiring batters. You've got to start winning the 1st game of the series. You have to win the series, but it sure helps to win the 1st one and then win 1 of 2.
So next Saturday night, folks, when we join you against the Pirates at 7 o'clock on WB11 and the Cardinal Network, Al and I will give you a phone number and how you can bid on Mr. DeWitt's 24-seat box for a mutually agreed upon date. And we'll raise money for the pinch hitters and their wonderful charities in conjunction with the barbecue the next day. That ball outside, 2-2.
And I think it was one thing to reiterate about the barbecue. And we have those blankets for you to sit on, but if you need a chair, just tell them and they'll provide tables.
That'll be on the outfield grass, that brand new grass next Sunday.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure the grounds crew is thrilled about that, but
we'll have a good time. Our fans are orderly. There will be no problem out there. You can go roam the gaps like Jim Edmonds does. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Rivas, and he fouls another. What are the Cubs doing today? No score. They're at home playing the Royals now. John Lieber is on the mound for Chicago today. He is 11-4. The Astros are home behind Tim Redding, their rookie, who's 1-0. And they are hosting the Cleveland Indians. So maybe Tomey and that bunch will give the Cardinals some help the next couple of days.
You see the replays last night. I think it was Lugo hit a grand slam broken bat home run.
Can you imagine
grand slam broken bat in half?
Yeah,
in half.
This one right below us.
Oh yes, they were at Enron Field.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember back in '87 they were just starting to talk about the lively ball, and on a national telecast, I think it was Vin Scully and Joe Garagiola on the old NBC Game of the Week. Jack Howell hit a broken bat home run at Yankee Stadium, where it's shallow for left-handers, and what a good at bat there for Luis Rivas. That's the second walk of the day by Dustin Hermanson. And now you've got Minkiewicz coming up, arguably their best hitter. So a real good 2-out walk by Luis Rivas. But Jack Howell back in '87 hit a broken bat home run. Then guys like Wally Joyner and some other young guys who hadn't hit that many homers before started bombing the ball all over the place. And that's when the first talk of the lively baseball really started.
Yeah, but you know, Jack Howell was 200 pounds plus and had, you know, had home run power. How about Lugo? No, I mean, he's done a nice job for them, and is a more offensive shortstop. But
Julio Lugo hit 10 home runs last year in 420 at bats. That's a strike in the outside corner. Matheny came popping up in case Luis Rivas, who has stolen 14 bases, was thinking about second.
And we showed these Twins like to run.
Only the Yankees and Mariners have more steals in the American League out.
They're the type of team that they have to manufacture their offense.
Looked like a high breaking ball, and Minkiewicz was trying to jump all over it.
Dustin did not want to throw that pitch where it ended up. They got away with it. That's the difference between the minor leagues and the big leagues. These guys, very few times where they let those mistakes get away from them.
Runner at first, 2 outs, no score, top of the third. Dustin gives the quick move to Rivas, who got back in plenty of time. Jerry White is the first base coach for the Twins over there. There's Jerry. Over on the other side, they've got a guy who's been with Tom Kelly forever.
Player and just moved into the coaching box after that, right?
Yeah. The pride of Okmulgee, Oklahoma, right down the road from Tulsa, Ron Gardenhire.
That's close enough for me.
It's 30 miles. The 0-2 runner started and stopped. Matheny snaps it, and the ball gets away from Mack, but close enough. No advancement by the runner. Ron Gardenhire is a guy that many people will forecast as a very good major league manager someday soon.
You see the snap tag, but Mark took an eye off it, and it almost decapitated the runner. When he stepped, it almost got him in a scissor lock.
Pena on the grass out in short right field against this left-hander. Runner going. Perfect base hit to the left side. A perfect hit and run by Minkiewicz. They had Renteria moving to the bag with a left-hander batting, and Doug Minkiewicz placed it beautifully behind him, and Tom Kelly plays some 2-out hit and run.
Well, that's the way they play this game. They play it very aggressively where it's stealing, and that's a, you know, this is a pitch you may not even swing at unless the hit and run's on. But checked in the strike zone and just placed perfectly.
First and third, 2 outs. Cardinal baseball on KPLR TV, St. Louis, WB11. And we're the flagship station for the Cardinal Television Network. Bob Carpenter, Al Raboski, Rich Gould, and our Bud Sports production crew on a wonderful 87-degree day at Busch Stadium with a good breeze blowing. And I was interested in some of the things the great Hall of Famer Paul Molitor had to say, talking to Rich before the game about the little things this club does to win ball games. He says we never win by much and we never lose by much.
And they win a lot of one-run decisions. And you talked that also without Ortiz. You know, they find ways to get things done and usually are playing little ball.
Little pop fly left field. Ray broke back. Now he comes in. Langford cruising. And the Twins will strand 2 more. They've left 4 today. They've lost 1 on a double play ball. So we played 2.5 on a beautiful day at Busch. Cardinals and the Twins are scoreless. Young Guns 2 today following Cardinal baseball on WB11. The government is in hot pursuit of some of the most popular outlaws ever. Emilio Estevez, Lou Diamond Phillips, and Kiefer Sullivan on the run. Young Guns 2 today. They're here from International Falls. That's where they take the cars during the winter to test the batteries. You know, the old Die Hard commercials? That is right on the border, something like 275, 300 miles north of the Twin Cities of Minnesota, and that's some beautiful country up there.
That's where Bronco Nagurski's from.
Wow, invoking the Bronco Nagurski football theme.
You don't always, you know, not every telecast gets that reference.
Vina, little foul ball. International Falls, Minnesota. Arguably the coldest part of the United States of America.
In the lower
other than Wrigley Field on the 10th of April. Yeah, the lower 48. You're right, Al. The contiguous 48 states, not counting Alaska, where Mike Shannon is fishing right now. There's a pitch low, 1 ball, 1 strike. That's some beautiful country up there in Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes. They have a totally unresolved stadium issue up there. They've had all kind of crazy ideas about stadiums. Here's a 1-1 to Fernando, and he jacks one to center. Pretty well hit, and Torrey Hunter gets there.
Seen some highlights of Torrey Hunter. He can go and flag down some balls and does a pretty good job. It all started with getting a good jump, and Torrey's known for that. Goes right after it and really makes it with pretty much ease.
They've tried everything in Minnesota to get a new stadium.
How about the ridiculous one where they wanted to put up a temporary 25,000 seat stadium?
Yeah, down by the Mall of America, I think. In fact, the Mall of America is where the old stadium, Metropolitan Stadium, used to stand. The home of those Purple People Eater Vikings and the early twins of Tony Oliva and Harmon Killebrew. It's the only shopping center in America with home plate where it should be. 1 ball, 1 strike. Polanco on a hit and run got a base hit first time up. And now you fear the Cardinal bats go silent for the next 5 or 6 innings after that early scoring opportunity was wasted as everybody struck out with men on base. That pitch high and tight, ball 2. They even had one crazy idea in Minnesota. They were going to build an outdoor stadium almost adjacent to the Metrodome, connected by a long tunnel, and on bad nights, they would move all the equipment into the indoor stadium, and then there's 2 for 2 for Polanco. How about him? He comes in batting .325, and he's got 2 opposite field base hits. And then on nice nights up there, they were going to play in the outdoor stadium. That proposal didn't last very long.
Well, look at that. He gets control not only of his hands, his body, weight shift. He goes up there thinking about taking the ball to the middle to the opposite field. Another multi-hit game for him. Middle of the order has some payback in this game.
Here's Edmonds. There's a young man by the name of Joe Mauer making big news in the Twin Cities, a local product from Paul Molitor's high school. And the Twins and he and his father are $2 million apart. I think, isn't Scott Boras involved in that too? Thought he was. He's not. That's 2-0.
No, they're not allowed agents. They're just personal advisors. But Scott is not advising this young man, who's a pretty good football player.
He's a catcher.
Very
good athlete.
The one also that struck out, I mean, some ridiculous thing like 1 or 2 times in his high school season.
3-0 to Edmonds. You know, the Twins are not a club that can go around, can afford to go around throwing $7-8 million at some kid who may never play in the major leagues.
But they also cannot afford to draft a kid #1 in the country and not sign him.
Yeah. Florida State's waiting for him for a football scholarship. And we're waiting here in St. Louis for a big hit with men on base. Joe Mays walking
First
Edmonds.
baseman Mark McGuire.
Thank you, John Hewlett. Cardinals' great PA announcer announcing Big Mac, and 2 on 1 out. Is this the time we get the big hit we've been waiting for? Al, it's gonna take an inning where about 10 or 11 guys bat, about 6 or 7 hits, and then maybe everybody can relax and just start hitting the ball all over this place. 2 on 1 out. Low and away, ball 1.
It's so natural that when you're struggling, you try to do too much. Instead of staying within yourself, you want to take the entire team and put them on your shoulders. And there's very few people other than McGuire who's capable of doing that.
Ball 2. They continue to work Mark away. They have not thrown him a pitch on the inside part of the plate yet. He walked on 6 pitches back in the first after going 0-2. And now 8 pitches he's seen today, and all of them have been away.
Now, to me, that is working to Mark's favor. He has struggled with the location, not knowing where the strike zone is on the inner half. You pitch him away, he has a chance to get his arms extended. Every power hitter wants that.
2-0. Swing and a ground ball, should be 2. Koski to Rivas. 5-4-3. And the Cardinals continue to waste opportunities today. We played 3 at Busch Stadium. The hits are even at 3. Neither team has scored. Cardinals and the Twins in a good matchup in the first game of this 3-game Sunday, Monday, Tuesday series.
Mark McGuire just hit into that double play, and we talk all the time about how he is not being Mark McGuire. Mark McGuire didn't realize how important his back leg is, the ability to drive off. You see how far he gets out there? Instead of being able to sit down on that back leg, he brings it so far forward it collapses and his foundation goes with it. Instead of being able to sit off that back leg, generate that tremendous power. A pitcher gets his velocity from his lower legs. The same thing for a hitter's production and power production. It comes from the solid foundation, and it starts with that back leg.
Top of the 4th, Torrey Hunter, Jacques Jones, and Jason Maxwell for the Twins. Hermanson gets one by him. Torrey Hunter flied to center first time up. First round draft choice 8 years ago. Torrey Hunter, he was the 20th player overall taken. He's an Arkansas boy from Pine Bluff. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dr. Rich Gould will be providing us a medical report from a key Busch Stadium person here in a moment. There's a swing and a miss on a good Hermanson breaking ball, and the count goes 1-2 on the leadoff man here in the top of the 4th. Twins are 57-33, 24 over 500. 5 up on Cleveland. Indians all kind of pitching problems lately. They're 31-14 against their own division. There's a little squibber to the right side for Vina. Fernando's got to be quick. Nobody's quicker. He's got the first out. Pat Stafford is with Rich Gould. And Rich, why is Pat important here today?
I try to talk to Pat every year. Now today it's perfect for baseball. But very soon, we're going to get 95, 98, 100 degrees perhaps through August, and there are certain things that folks should do when they're coming to the ballpark, aren't they, Pat?
Exactly. You know, when warm weather comes in St. Louis, it's always followed right along with the humidity. When you're coming to the ballpark, remember to bring your sunscreen. We still have the outdoor stadium. You're still subject to getting that sunburn. Also be careful to make sure that you get lots of water before you come to the stadium, and then drink lots of water here. Try and stay away from the highly caffeinated, the high caffeine drinks, and away from beer. We know we all like to have our beer. It goes along with Mom's apple pie at the ballpark, but it's not real good for us.
And what do our fans wear when they come here? Is it light, loose-fitting stuff? You don't want anybody in long sleeve wool coats, right?
Exactly. You know, wear your Cardinal red shorts with your white shirt, nice cotton, loose-fitting clothes, and stay nice and cool.
Thank you, Pat. Wow, what a catch by Jim Edmonds, Bob.
Jim Edmonds plays the shallowest center field in baseball. When I talked to him in Cleveland last week, he said, hey, I had a coach back in high school who told me 2/3 of hits fall in front of you. I'm going to take a lot of those away.
Absolutely, and you can't make this play unless you get a good read off the bat, but more importantly, you play that shallow center field, and you can go to your left, your right, you can come in, you take a lot of base hits away. Nice one right there by the Gold Glover, Jim Edmonds.
2 outs, base is empty. Jason Maxwell is next.
And Bob, how many times you really see a ball gets over the head of Edmonds or an outfielder that stays in the park?
Not very often.
Yeah,
a lot of times it depends on the stadium.
Right, but on occasion it will. But majority of the time, if you play shallow, you can take the hits away. And there's times in a game or situations where you'll play a little deeper. But not too often we see Jim Edmonds. He's flawless.
There's a little jam job and a flare foul down the right field side. Hey, Cardinal fans, you guys are so knowledgeable, right? Here's a little trivia for you. How many errors does Jim Edmonds have this year? We'll give you a second to think about that. How many errors has our center fielder made this year as the defending Gold Glove outfield?
We could confuse them. You count them on one hand.
I'm not trying to lead anybody down the wrong road here. Jason Maxwell on a 1-2 pitch. Way outside with a hard breaking ball, and Hermanson has the count even. 2-2. If you said less than 1, you are correct. Jim Edmonds has not made a single error this year. 2-2. And a little number right off the top of the bat by Jason Maxwell. Tom Kelly loves this kid. Maxwell is the Twins version of Placido Polanco. He can play anywhere Tom Kelly needs him. Right now, shortstop with Christian Guzman out with a bad right shoulder. There's a broken bat. There's Renteria. There's a grab. There's a throw. And there's a 1, 2, 3, 4th inning. Jim Edmonds making this play for the second out. Nobody does it better. And we go to the bottom of the 4th. No score. This portion of Cardinal Baseball on WB11 brought to you by Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers, and by Hyundai Dealers, where driving is believing. Test drive one at your local Hyundai dealer this week. Albert Pujols takes strike 1, bottom of the 4th underway. Joe Mays, I like the way he works out, gets that ball, and he's ready to go right back at it.
Well, you're 11-game winner in the American League. The ERA just over 3. Why not?
He throws a fastball, a four-seamer that he sinks. Curveball is his better of the 2 breaking balls, and we heard good things about his changeup. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Albert takes a high hack and fouls it. Well, nothing happening in that Cub game. Royals did not score. Top of the 4th. No score at Wrigley.
Look at that. An American League with an ERA of 2.65 on the road. Don't get much better. You're talking about his curveball, huh? Oh, there's somebody in the house who's got a better one.
Whoa. One of the great breaking ball pitchers ever in baseball, Bert Blyleven. In fact, Ted Simmons still loves telling a story on Terry Kennedy. And Bert told me he threw Terry 2 fastballs one day when he was with the Pirates, got him 0-2, threw him the big yacker, and Kennedy swung straight down, trying to make contact. And I guess,
wood.
yeah, and I guess Ted Simmons and all the Cardinals in the dugout were rolling on the floor watching Terry Kennedy haplessly straight down hack at a Bert Blyleven curveball.
I knew Bert when he was about 19 years of age. Signed out of Southern California with the Twins. Got to the big leagues about a year plus after that. Won 280 some games, I think it was.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Pujols. Cardinals have had runners all over the bases in 2 different innings today. They've stranded 4. 3-2 pitch. Big breaking ball. Hacked in the air to center, not too deep. And coming on is Torrey Hunter to make the grab. Here's one for you Cardinal MasterCard holders. Use your MasterCard and see the Cardinals for less. Go to www.stlcardinals.com or call the Cardinal charge line at 421-2400. Ask for the MasterCard Grand Slam ticket pack today. Now, I believe the charge line, is it open today? It's usually open Monday through Saturday. If you don't get them today, call first thing tomorrow. Cardinal charge line normally open between 9 and 5 Monday through Saturday. 421-2400. You can grab your Cardinal ducats right on the phone with your MasterCard. There's a Ray Langford base hit out to center. Cardinals have their 4th base hit of the day. They've all been singles. And this is the 3rd inning in 4. The Redbirds have had at least 1 base runner. Renteria next.
6-game hitting streak with Ray, and there he gets that breaking ball. It's right off the end of the bat. Good enough for the base hit. I talked to Ray before the game. I think he is poised to really contribute the next couple months.
Power numbers not that bad. He just needs to make contact more and move some runners and score some guys.
Langford hitting at 400 when he makes contact, you know, and of late it seems like the strikeouts have curtailed a little bit, even though he has 1 here today.
1 on 1 out. Renteria fly to left first time up. Breaking ball taken back in, standing up barely is Ray.
Tom Prince trying to win some brownie points with his teammates, trying to pick off a guy.
And it's probably because of a young pitching staff. Tom Prince 4 out of 16 in the caught stealing department. Their other catcher is a young left-hander, A.J. Przynski, left-handed hitter, that is. And a 2-1 pitch hacked high in the air by Renteria, down near the corner and right for Matt Lawton, and he's got it for the 2nd out.
I think Tom Prince is back there because of this relationship he has with Joe Mays.
Tom Prince's 35th game of the year. Przynski's played in 64. Here's our Bommarito Automotive Group leaderboard. Roger Clemens could be tied by Joe Mays if he beats the Cardinals today. All 3 of those all-star pitchers. I am constantly amazed by how well Roger Clemens is pitching at this stage of his career. And of course, much more of a pitcher than he ever has been before. He can really fade that ball away from left-handed batters now.
But you know what? I mean, forget about the Piazza incident. He still puts fear in hitters' minds when they're standing at the plate. That's something that is part of the game.
Yes, it is. And only a few guys have that.
You know what's amazing, though? They're the ones that win.
And they all pitch inside, and they all intimidate people. 1 ball and no strikes. To Mike Matheny, bounced back to the pitcher first time up. It would be nice to see Mike get to the plate here in the 4th, or rather get on base and get Hermanson to the plate. But Mike pops it up. Luis Rivas waiting for this one to come down. He does, and the Cardinals are gone in the 4th. 4 hits, 5 runners stranded, and we move on to the 5th inning. A good pitching matchup so far between Hermanson and Joe Mays. Pirates are here next Sunday, and it'll be Cole's Family Fun Day here at Busch Stadium. First 20,000 women 16 and over with a paid admission will receive a Kohl's markdown card. It's good for a $10 off purchase incentive, and 5 lucky fans will receive a Kohl's prize package good for $200 off purchase incentive. Wow. That'll be Kohl's Family Fun Day next Sunday. Cards Pirates. Come on out, gals. We'll be here televising. Come on out to the ballpark. Enjoy the game, the Cards, the Pirates, and the barbecue right after. Tom Prince leads off top of the 5th against Dustin Hermanson. No score. And a breaking ball to the outside corner. Cubs got a run bottom of the 4th and lead the Royals 1-0 at Wrigley. Indians got a run in the 1st. Astros got one in the 2nd after 2 at Enron Field. Cleveland and Houston tied at 1. Astros are 3 back of the Cubs. The Cards are 8 outs. Tom Prince hit into a 6-3 double play first time up. That's a fastball on the corner, a beauty from Dustin Hermanson. Dustin nearing the 70 pitch mark. Pretty efficient so far, Al.
48 of his 42, 43 now of his 79 pitches or strikes. Yeah, he's doing what he has to do. He's just going out there. He's only allowed 3 hits. 69 pitches.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
He's walked a pair.
Well, Dustin, as Al told you, very good in day games this year. He narrowly misses down and in ball 3. Tom Prince. It'll be interesting to see if Tom Kelly can play some National League ball here in case his number 8 man gets on. Pitcher on deck. He walked him. Hermanson was ahead. Dustin's walked 3 on the day now. And the Twins have their number 8 man aboard here in the top of the 5th. Our copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinal Baseball, a production of Bud Sports and an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net. Runner going. How about that? And a swing and a foul by Joe Mays. Tom Kelly putting the hit and run on with his pitcher and his catcher. Boy, these guys must have a good relationship.
You know, you try to do something that nobody's expecting. Baseball coming right back at you. But that's part of it. I mean, how many times do people say, okay, it's a bunting situation? The guy lays down a bunt. You can guard against that, but can you guard against the hit and run?
Offered a bunt, and it's taken low and inside. By the way, there's one guy we've got to mention today that we have not, and that is the great Kirby Puckett. He's going into the Hall of Fame. Harmon Killebrew's already there. Rod Carew went in 91. 13 years for Kirby, way too few before the eye problems got him. A .318 career batting average, 2,300 hits. And he's going into the Hall after 6 Gold Gloves and 10 All-Star games. And now, never a more delightful man put on a major league uniform.
Well, he was, like you said, he just looked like he was having fun out there all the time, very productive.
That's a hard bunt. It gets by Pujols, somehow, or rather Polanco, and he grabs it. For a moment, it looked like that ball was all tied up in his feet.
I thought the same thing. I never saw it get into his hand or glove. I thought he over jumped at the ball. Bunts it hard, right back up here. See, he changes direction, gets it. He almost put like his right hand down, was falling down, and
just swiped at it.
And kind of swiped at it and ended up into his glove. Change of direction. Missed it the first time, but boy, that was a nifty little play. And of course, it's Polanco, and nothing surprises you.
How about that for fast hands? Misses it, grabs it, then he throws it And before the ball even gets to McGuire, he's looking at the runner at second base to see what's going on over there. I mean, this guy is something else. Top of the order, Matt Lawton for the Twins. It would be just like them to scrape out a run here with a catcher walking, a pitcher who never gets to bat, sacrificing, and then a base hit by one of their guys up at the top of the order.
Well, that's why they're
the way
in
they
first
play.
place. No, but first of all, the bottom line is you can't walk an 8th place hitter.
And a ground ball to McGuire. Little backhand, little flip, and a second out. Hermanson over there in good shape. And over to third base with 2 outs. Prince. That play by Polanco, Al, is worth another look.
Yeah, watch him come in. Now he's charging in. The pitcher has them up the middle, so he has to change direction. Now watch you go for it the first time, misses it, braces himself with his right hand to keep from falling on his face, and then it's still at that point he opens up the glove hand and lets the ball roll in and then executes the throw.
But I love the way he throws the ball. He knows it's on target, so he's already looking at the runner at second base before McGuire even catches the throw.
And see if I can retrace my steps in case he wants to try to get to third to see if I'm needed at some other point on the diamond.
This kid's baseball IQ is very, very high. What a nice young man he is. Hello, my friend, is what he usually says to you when he greets you. Runner at third, 2 outs. Luis Rivas, the batter, and a breaking ball a little bit high. Rivas 0 for 1 with a walk today. Luis Rivas from Venezuela. I think that ball was a strike back in the first inning, wasn't it? That's a strike.
Was.
And a fastball fouled back. Dustin Hermanson.
Did you see the reports where some of the umpires were upset because they were told to certain guys that they've been monitoring the umpires, and they're saying that they have to keep an average of 270 pitches in a game that they work behind the plate?
That's their responsibility? That is ridiculous.
But that's...
I mean, these guys have enough to worry about, Al.
Well, an edict that is coming down from Major League Baseball that apparently some umpires, as they're monitoring their strike zone, have found that pitchers are throwing too many pitches in a game.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Little chopper by the mound. Here comes Renteria on the run. Got him! And we stay scoreless in the top of the 5th inning. Leadoff man aboard. First, it was Polanco on the bunt, saving the Cardinals 90 feet. Then Renteria. No score. This day in Cardinal history brought to you by our friends at Schnucks. 1967, on their way to a world championship. Bob Gibson hit by a line drive by Roberto Clemente, fracturing that fibula. Cardinals lost to the Bucks. And I will never forget how quiet this stadium was as Bob Gibson laid on the mound with that broken leg. In fact, he threw a couple more pitches.
Yeah,
he tried to continue pitching, and he fell down. And I mean, Cardinal fans were just seeing first place disappear. Nellie Briles came out, won like 10 in a row, and Gibby came back and then pitched the Cardinals over the Red Sox in the World Series.
You know, there was I believe it was in '74, and it was about the middle of August. We had a 5.5 game lead over, in the Eastern Division. That's when Gibson was at first base, got doubled up on a line drive, tried to get back to the bag, and tore his knee up.
Yeah.
It summoned me from the bullpen, but it was the same situation he tried to throw. And I was like a yo-yo. I went back and forth 2 or 3 times before the Reds said finally, no, you can't do it. We performed surgery instead of having Briles. Our number 2 and number 3 starters won 1 game the next 6 weeks.
Wow.
And we still had a chance to win in the last week. Matter of fact, Bob, against doctors' wishes and teams' wishes, came back and said, I'm going to pitch in the final week. Through 6 innings of shutout baseball, we had like a 6-0 lead. We took him out, and that winter, he came back too soon, and he had problems with the knee all winter.
There's a little flare to center. My drop. Hermanson's got a base hit. Dustin Hermanson with his 4th base hit of the year and 33 ABs. And the Cardinals had their leadoff man on for the 2nd time in 5 innings.
Right off the end of the bat, and Torrey Hunter really didn't pick it up, or he makes his play. Kind of held back there a little bit, and he started coming in hard, and just that difference of 1 extra step. And maybe that's what Dustin's pitched very well today. Now maybe he'll get things started.
You know, you look back at that 1967 Cardinals World Championship season, 2 guys often get overlooked on that team, and one of them is Nellie Briles, who rescued the Cardinal rotation after the Gibson injury. Here's Fernando Vina. The other guy was a rookie right-hander, Dick Hughes, who won 16 games for the Cardinals that year.
Ended up hurting his arm after the season.
Yeah, never heard much from Dick after that.
I don't know if he ever got back to the big leagues, but he stayed a few years. I played with him in the minor leagues as they were trying to, you know, reward him with minor league salary.
Plus a great bullpen. 1-0 pitch outside. Joe Horner, Ron Willis, Hal Woodishik. Cardinals had a great lineup.
64, kind of the same way with Barney Schultz coming up.
A closer. Barney Schultz, the Cardinals closer. A knuckleball. Who'd have thunk it? 2-0 to Fernando. A lot of hitting room on the right side. He hits a high fly ball. Deep right center. Lawton going back. It is off the wall. Hermanson to third. Vina to second. Nobody out. And Fernando came close to his 4th homer of the year. He'll settle for his 18th double.
He gave it a ride, and there you see the pitch is up out over the plate. You got the line drive, and let's hear the ball making contact. Right off the padding, plays the carom perfectly, gets it back in. Hermanson, you know, you see him standing kind of straight up. And then he sees the ball staying in the ballpark, so he backs up kind of midway between third and home plate, trying to determine where the throw would come in. So Tom Prince out to talk to his Joe Mays. I think right now we have the best man available. Contact hitter, a guy that hits the ball the other side. You know, you're talking about those championship teams of the 60s. Roger Maris, when he came over here, said, I've got an automatic 25 RBIs without a base hit every single season. Because in situations like this, he knew at the very least he could hit a ball to the right side and score that runner or a sacrifice fly.
Yeah.
You don't always have to get a base hit.
Yeah, and you can talk about the big power guys, but in many ways, this is the best guy to have at the plate with men at second and third. Polanco makes a breaking ball for a strike. Placido today 2 for 2. He's now batting .330, and that would be good enough to put him in the top 10 in the National League. He's a singular sensation up with those other guys in the National League this year.
He's talking about how singles can win a lot of games for you, score a lot of runs like the Twins have done.
Here's the 0-1. Looks it all the way into the dirt. Placido Polanco at .330 now. 1 point ahead of Juan Pierre of Colorado, their center fielder, and tied with Brian Giles of the Pirates, right behind Vladimir Guerrero at the bottom of that top 10. Cardinals looking to break on top here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And a 1-1 to Placido. They're going to jam him. They do. He flares it. Left field. Base hit. Vina coming around. Oquendo will hold him with nobody out after Hermanson scored, and the Cardinals lead 1-0. Polanco delivers again.
18th RBI. When you talk about it, he always looks up the middle or away. But certain times at the pitch, you have to be conscious enough on the pitch inside to be able to be quick enough to fight that pitch off. And there he tries to jam him, and he muscles it out over here. There you see Hermanson had a good read on it. He comes around, but with nobody out in the inning, you didn't want to have Vina run into an out. So Oquendo will stop him. And here's another 3-hit game for Polanco. He leads the ball club in 3-hit games. Not a real good throw, but that was only the responsibility of Jones to get the ball back in the infield.
Here's Edmonds, infield back. They'll take a double play and give the Cardinals a run. Jimmy hacks one to left field. Deep. It is caught by Jacques Jones. Vina tags and scores. Back to first is Polanco, and the Cardinals lead 2-0.
Well, you want a little bit more, but you take things in small steps. I talked the other day to Jim Edmonds, his former hitting coach, the great Rod Carew, a Hall of Famer and former Twin. He said Jimmy is kind of collapsing off his back leg. What he needs to do is start driving the ball to left field and eventually start swinging the ball around the diamond.
Runner at first, still only one out. And McGuire the batter. Cardinals on top 2-0. Big Mac 0 for 1 with a walk and a double play. Don't hang a breaking ball, Joe.
Yeah, every infielder or outfielder, they'll reach in and automatically they grab the ball across the seam so the ball will not sail. And they can throw that ball. Now, if you're a pitcher, it's not particularly the way you want to throw it. It's kind of what they talk about, the variation of the four-seamer. But it allows a infielder and outfielder to throw the ball straight.
Nice pickup, Tom Mee and our Bud Sports production crew.
You know, something that it just comes so instinctively. You reach in your glove, no matter how you catch it, you immediately get that same grip.
2-0 to Mac. There's a little backup slider, it appeared, and it stayed on the corner, and the count 2-1.
Time for Mac to get a hold of a mistake.
You know, some people feel watching Mark lately, he's just not seeing the ball that great. He has taken pitches 64% of the time this year. 2-1 coming. A little high.
That's what you're talking about. And it seems of late he's taking strikes and not necessarily wild swings at balls, but just taking a lot of pitches that were called strikes.
3-1. Fastball on the outside corner or somewhere near.
That was a fastball right there, and I think he was thinking that a 3-1 count would be a breaking ball. And it's probably borderline, but
now the count to Mac 3-2.
Just accentuates what you've been talking about.
If I'm Tony La Russa, I've got to move that runner here. 1 out. Polanco is running. Swing and a base hit. Placido goes to third. McGuire's got a hit. And the Cardinals with a corner situation, 1 out. Nice at bat by Big Mac.
Even though Mark McGuire is 6th place in the all-time home run list, Tony La Russa was going to talk about this. 3-2, it's a breaking ball. And he kind of, that's what he was thinking he was going to get on 3-1. The back leg, you see, he doesn't drive out. See how far he gets out in front of it and just collapses instead of sitting back on it and exploding? Now that thing comes forward. But it also helped him on that breaking ball that was out and away from him. It was the pitch he was looking for. It's the pitch he could handle. And Tony La Russa right now says, I'll take just those little base hits right now to get him in more of a hitting or mental groove of feeling better about himself.
Pujols with a drive, left field line. Fair ball. Home to scores Polanco. Big Mac to third. Save. 3-0 Cardinals. Pujols the hit. Looks upstairs and says thank you. McGuire with some speed over to third, and the Cardinals have a 5-hit inning.
Now they're breaking ball, and you don't make a mistake in the strike zone like this to Pujols, especially after he's been up there a couple times and sees your ball action. Another good play by the outfielder. Gets the carom, a little hesitation. If he didn't hesitate right there, he would have had McGuire out at third base. Hector Carrasco is warming up, and it looks like Pujols just knocks him out with this double into the left field corner.
Well, we talked earlier about the fact the Cardinals need an inning where 10 or 11 guys bat and 6 or 7 of them get hits and a bunch of them score, and they're well on their way. 3 runs in this inning on 5 Cardinal hits, still only 1 out. They've knocked out the all-star pitcher Joe Mays and a man we know from past National League experience, Hector Carrasco, a hard-throwing right-hander coming in for Tom Kelly. Cardinals lead 3-0, bottom of the 5th, and folks, there's a lot more to come.
Ballpark, but it's little things like that that help out and start making him feel better about himself.
Here's Langford, 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. Infield in, Ray fouls it against Hector Carrasco from the Dominican. And we've seen Hector around for a lot of years. He broke in with the Reds in '94, Royals in '97, Twins ever since the '98 season, and a little stint for 8 games at the end of last year with the Red Sox.
He has really struggled of late. He has allowed 16 hits in his last 7 appearances.
McGuire wandering down the line at third base, and then a snap throw by Princely. And Big Mac showed some mobility getting from first to third on that double by Pujols into the corner.
Now watch, you take your lead in foul territory, but when you go back in fair territory, because then you're in the line of the throw. Maybe you can have the ball hit you, deflect it into the corner, get away, get an easy run that way. But you also take that lead in foul territory, because if it hits you, you're not out.
1-1. I had an interesting
ball off the bat.
Last night we honored the RBI program up at the Matthews Dickey Boys Club at the Stadium Club, and a gentleman by the name of Robert Poole was there with Game Technologies Inc. He's got this wonderful game called Rules of the Game. It's kind of like a Trivial Pursuit, and I found out last night that if you're standing on the third base bag in fair territory and a batted ball hits you, you are out. Even on the bag, you've got to have your body in fair territory, or you are out if the ball hits you.
Because the base is in fair territory.
Yeah. So I guess when kids holler base, it really doesn't mean that much when they're playing tag. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ray. But it was great last night. Some of the young baseball and girls softball players we honored at the Matthews Dickey event. They have 2 local baseball teams at the Nationals in Cincinnati and 1 girls softball team from right here in St. Louis. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ray, 1 for 2 with a single. And the count's 2-2. Ray drives it for a 2-run single. McGuire scores. Pujols home. And the Cardinals have a 5-run 6th inning. Ray delivers RBIs 37 and 38.
Now Ray Langford is hitting over 400 when he does not strike out. 2 for 3 here today. He gets 2 RBIs on this pitch. And what's good here is that ball's up a little bit from a hard thrower. And yet he could turn on the pitch with a controlled swing. Both runners come around to score. 5 runs in this inning. All 5 of them charged to the starter, the All-Star Mays. That's a good sign. 10 and 4 on Sundays this season. And I'll tell you what, we need to have the first game of a series on Sundays.
That's right. Remember a couple years ago the Cardinals couldn't win on Sundays at all?
Yeah,
we were blaming those caps, the ball caps, but they're doing great now. Still only 1 out in this inning. 5 runs, 6 hits. It is so nice to hear the stadium buzzing again. And it's 0-1 to Edgar, who's 0 for 2. Carrasco steps off. So Joe Mays goes 4 1/3, 5 runs, 9 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. His first career appearance against the Cardinals, and we greeted him rather rudely. Here's the 0-1. Runner going. A drive to right field. That's a hit into the corner. Langford heading for third. Oquendo holds him up, and Ray will hustle back. What a dig out of the corner by Matt Lawton. It looked like Ray Langford was going to score for sure. And Matheny will be the 9th Cardinal to bat in this inning.
Well, they have drive this ball in here, and look at that ball is going to go further into the corner. So a real nice grab by Lawton. Gets the ball back in. It's a high throw, but still. And Oquendo stopped him real late. Renteria starting to show some signs of coming out of it. He is so strong. He can drive the ball to all parts of the field. I think after setting a record by home runs by a shortstop last year, he tried to pull the ball, get a lot of home runs, but he has power to all fields.
Here's Matheny. First and third, one out. Every time Tom Kelly looks up in this inning, the Cardinals have a runner at third in less than 2. Good rip by Mike.
First game of the series, the Cardinals 5 games under. It's so much easier if you can concentrate on winning that first one, then you try to win the second one, and if you do so, then you can go for the sweep. But when you lose the first game, then you got to take 2 of the next 2, and that makes it that much tougher. The game you're playing is the most important one all the time.
Little visit to the mound by Tom Prince. Al, it should not be overlooked what started this entire inning, and that's the bloop base hit by the leadoff man, Dustin Hermanson.
Absolutely. You know, you get this base hit, you get things started. You know, Vigna is the kind of guy that's going to get his hits. Then Polanco is 3 for 3 today. The middle of the order this inning has done the damage, but it was all started from Hermanson, the 9th place hitter, and then the top of the order does their normal good hard work.
Dustin Hermanson, a batting average of 1,000 today as a leadoff man. Here's the 0-1 and a breaking ball low and away. That'll even things up. He will bat next. First and third, still only 1 out. And a 1-1 pitch coming. Matheny with a helicopter swing, couldn't get there, and it's strike 2.
Breaking ball and kind of going down, and then, like you say, the liftoff, the helicopter.
That reminds me of that old Walt Riniak style of hitting. Guys were swinging one-handed way back in the 80s. The 1-2 pitch to the Cardinal catcher. Up the middle, that'll be a double play. Maxwell Rivas, and the Cardinals will send 9 men to the plate in the 5th inning. They will score 5 on 7 hits. 5-0 Cardinals.
Dustin Hermanson working on a shutout in the 6th. The Cardinals just backed him up with 5 runs. In fact, the Cardinals scored a little bit like the Twins do when they win games. Former big league outfielder Dan Gladden joins us. This Twins team is the talk of baseball, isn't it, Dan?
Oh, without a doubt. They came out of spring training, surprised everybody, and everybody is talking about when are they going to kind of slip back, and that's not the case. Coming back strong after the All-Star break, but I think there's no secret to the Minnesota Twins' success. They're getting good, strong pitching. These guys are catching the ball, and we're scoring some runs.
You played on some remarkable Twins teams, and a couple ex-teammates are going in the Hall of Fame. Kirby Puckett and Dave Winfield. I know you're happy for that.
Well, without a doubt, and again, it's another opportunity to put the spotlight back on the Twins organization, and I think we just had our 91 reunion, so everything, we're riding on the coattails of this team this year.
Saw you talking to Hungo before the game. What were you guys talking about?
Well, I was a guy, I got to face him at the end of my career, but he's a guy that I always liked the way he went about playing the game. I loved it when he came in there. He was a guy that loved to compete against hitters, and that's what you want from a pitcher standpoint, is somebody that will compete against you.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it.
My
Back
pleasure.
To work. Danny's doing radio for the Twins. See there, Al? He likes you. He really likes you.
No, it's the other way around. He faced me at the end of my
career. Yeah.
The beginning of his. That's a lot of guys like me better at the end of my career.
Dan Gladden, he was a character.
Except for my manager, my current manager. 1-2
to Minkiewicz, and Doug will bounce to the right side for Vigna. That's the first out here in the top of the 6th inning. Cardinals get Minkiewicz for the first time. Are you looking for your next new or pre-owned vehicle? If you are, log on to carsoup.com. Has over 5,000 pre-owned vehicles from more than 60 dealers. So check out carsoup.com.
Boy, this is what Dustin needs. Come out and be aggressive. Retire the Twins right after your teammates give you 5 runs. Too often, you give it right back.
Corey Koski 1 for 2. Cardinal baseball on KPLR TV, WB11. your Cardinal Network flagship station. We've got some interesting trivia for you coming up that deals with the Cardinals and the Twins doing a little wheeling and dealing with each other.
Will the Cardinals do any wheeling and dealing?
I would think there would be a move or two in the near future. 1 ball, 1 strike. One of those wheels and deals will be on the mound tomorrow night. Cardinals just called up Bud Smith. I saw Bud in Indianapolis Wednesday night at the AAA All-Star game, and if it wasn't for a third baseman's error, he would have had 2 scoreless innings. And then he went to New Orleans to join the Redbirds the next day against the Zephyrs and got the call to return to St. Louis. And he'll pitch with you guys on Fox Sports tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, let's just hope that we get a few wins right in a row when we know we're in a buyer's market rather than a seller's.
Third strikeout by Dustin Hermanson. Suntrup Automotive family with trivia today. The last trade between the Twinks and the Cards. It was Bruno.
That was the one I could think of.
Tommy Herb played a short time in Minnesota.
But Tommy Herb, just a wonderful Cardinal, and we really enjoyed when Bernansky was here.
Tom Bernansky was part of that Minnesota team that beat the Cards, and guys like Ken Herbeck, Kirby Puckett, Tim Laudner, good pitching. Frank Viola.
Part-time player, Don Baylor.
Yeah. And of course the manager was Tom Kelly. Tom Kelly, by the way, now here's a trivia for you. Here's a trivia question. What major league manager was a draft choice of the Seattle Pilots? Tom Kelly. 1-1 pitch and a grounder. He was a 5th rounder back in '68. And Tom's entire major league experience consisted of 49 games with the Twins in '75 when he hit 181 with 1 major league homer. He was an outfielder. But sometimes those guys turn out to be the best managers. Bouncer over there for Polanco, and an easy 1-2-3 6th inning for Dustin Hermanson. Cardinals just got finished sending 9 men to the plate. Hermanson will lead off again. 5-0 Redbirds. This portion of Cardinal baseball on WB11 brought to you by CarX Auto Service. More than you thought, for less than you think. 18 neighborhood locations. And by Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it. When's the last time we said 5-0 Cardinals? Well, I said it about 2 minutes ago, but I mean before that. Here's Hermanson leading off the 6th, and he goes up hacking again.
Pretty good rip, but the thing that you really have to commend Dustin about is after his teammates got him that 5 runs, he went out and had his first 1-2-3 inning.
He's retired 6 in a row, Al, and 10 of the last 11.
He had one in the 4th, but more importantly, he gives him the lead, and he knew what to do with it.
Serious gas from Hector Carrasco. When he was with Cincinnati, we thought he just turned into one of the great relievers. But his season high in saves, 6. He never did become a guy they could depend on in the late innings, despite a live arm and a lot of talent. He reminds me of Senior Smoke. Juan Berenguer, who used to pitch for the Twins back in the 80s.
He had like about 4 years at A-ball one time.
So you know he was down there trying to harness things. And there's a call, 3rd strike, Hermanson gone. Back to the top of the order now for Vigna, whose double off the wall in right field really opened up that inning for the Cardinals. And Polanco got an RBI hit, Edmonds sac fly, McGuire single, Pujols RBI double, Langford 2-run single. And the Cardinals had 5 runs on 7 hits in that inning. Fernando today 2 for 3 with a bunt single and a double with a run scored. So his batting average shoots up from .299 to .302. His on-base average around .360 or so. And out to left center. Does he have 3 hits? Yes, he does. Into the gap. Torrey Hunter returns it. And Fernando is doing his thing today. How about that going the other way with a little bit of pop?
Well, normally we don't like to see him get the ball too high in the air, but he's been plugging the gaps and driving the ball out into left center. Torrey Hunter gets there quickly and gets the ball back in. But this guy leaves the batter's box, hustling all the way. Going to round that bag, knows he's got 2, and see if he can get more.
You know, something just struck me watching that replay. Here's the first pitch to Polanco. Bounce it to short in front of Vina, so Fernando retreats. And Maxwell throws out Vina. Fernando Vina, known for having the quickest hands of any second baseman with the ball in the glove. He gets rid of that bat about as quickly as anybody I've ever seen. That thing went flying out of his hands.
See what you're talking about. Watch him make contact and let it fly.
See ya.
That was a little more what you're talking about. Walt Reniak. You swing, you make contact, and the hand comes off the bat. Walt would be very disappointed if you talked about the guys not making contact.
Sure.
And it's a variation of the Charlie Lau theory of it.
Charlie Lau, wasn't he all about keeping your weight back behind the ball?
Yeah.
George Brett was one of his main disciples.
Best and greatest disciple.
But I remember some guys in the American League would try to adopt that Walt Reniak style of hitting, and there were some funny looking swings when those guys were trying to get used to that. Edmonds is 0 for 1 with a walk and a sac fly. Why not pick up another one here? There's a called strike, and that evens the count here. Bottom of the 6th, 1 on, 2 out. Cardinals lead by 5.
Saw one the other day, didn't you? Short?
Tom Paciorek, yeah. They play Edmonds deep, especially in center and right. Jim Edmonds, 50 RBIs after that sac fly. And a breaking ball is in at the knees, and that'll make it 1-2. What's going on with the Cubs? They picked up another run in the 6th. But then the Royals have scored, and they're still batting in the top of the 7th. 2-1 Chicago at Wrigley Field. Cubs haven't been scoring a lot of runs lately. Edmonds skips out of there. That'll even the count 2-2. Hopefully the Royals will even the count 2-2.
Yeah, they've got 1 and still batting in the 7th.
That's what the yellow number means, still up there on our good old-fashioned scoreboard up there. How about the Astros? 1-1 after 4.5 against the Indians at Enron Field. 2-2 pitch. Edmonds hits one up the middle. Over to grab it, Maxwell. Good play. Guns out, Jim Edmonds. Cardinals strand a runner. They've left 7 this inning, highlighted by a Fernando Vina opposite field double. The Cardinals lead 5-0 after 6. Hey, you could be the Southwest Airlines family of the game. There's the address. Send a postcard with your name, address, and your phone number. And you could win great prizes. Hang out with Fred Bird in the family box up there in right field. The Southwest Airlines family of the game. Join today. Yesterday they had a father-kids game here, Al, and it was sponsored by the folks at Build-A-Bear. And
yes.
They brought one up for you and one for me. I'm playing with mine. You're not. I like my pair.
Yes.
He's a cute little guy.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to name him Poli after Polanco. He's a little guy who knows how to get things done. There's a ball rocked into right field by Jacques Jones, and that ends a streak of 6 in a row. Our buddy from the Cardinal office, Sean Bertani, who does a wonderful job with the Cardinal Kids Club and community relations, brought us our little Build-A-Bears.
Ball in the middle of the plate and hit into on the ground into right field for the 4th Minnesota Twin hit, and Jacques Jones has 2 of them.
Yeah, first hit since the 3rd inning for the guys from the Twin Cities. And next up, Jason Maxwell.
Made a nice play to retire Edmonds.
Maxwell 0 for 2. That was a good play by Jason. Cardinals getting Steve Klein ready after he saved a ball game yesterday. Cardinals needed that one, didn't they? Salvage a game of that Detroit series. Now with a win today, it's back to 500. Then you take it from there with 2 more against Minnesota. And then the 2 big road games Wednesday night and Thursday afternoon at Houston. And then back home Friday night with the Pirates in town. We'll televise 2 of those 3 here on WB11 Saturday and Sunday. There's a double play ball. Polanco, Vigna, 5-4-3. And Dustin Hermanson's second double play ball of the day.
Like he took a little off and got the hitter out in front. A little ground ball to your little friend.
Nice going, Poley.
Big Poley and little Poley.
That's right. And roly-poly calling the runner out at first.
Oh, that won't get back.
Oh, we love Bruce Fremming. Bases empty, 2 outs. Oh, baby,
Boy,
am I in trouble.
You love Bears and Bruce Fremming. Okay.
There's Bruce. He came in to replace.
What did you call him?
I called him Mr. Fremming, crew chief.
No. What did you literally call him?
I forgot.
Yeah, well, I'll remind him.
There's a grounder deep short. Renteria plants, throws, save. And getting down the line, Tom Prince with his first base hit of the day, but a very, very fine play by Edgar.
Very nice play, and that's what the fans appreciate. And they want to see this type of effort. Go out there and give it your all. And a nice stretch out there, and Renteria, he's saying, "Oh, darn." Catcher, get that out.
Brian Buchanan will be the pinch hitter for the Twins. That'll finish Carrasco, who pitched an inning and 2/3 scoreless, but he did give up a hit that gave up 2 runs. Well, Dave Duncan talking to Dustin Hermanson. Quite honestly, that was just a little ground ball that snuck almost through the infield. So no cause for great alarm, and Brian Buchanan, who just got reactivated off the DL, will be the pinch hitter. He's 2 for 6. And guess what? Both of those pinch hits, home runs this year, both solo shots, and those are his overall totals. They activated him when shortstop Christian Guzman was placed on the DL, and Buchanan hacks one into the left field corner, and with 2 outs, the Cardinals might get a break here. Yeah. Ball hopping over the yellow line for a ground rule double. But 3 hits in the inning now, and 2 of them well hit.
Big guy had a sprained ankle, and he just went up there hacking at the first pitch he saw. And I think at least to this point, it's a ground rule double, and it keeps that lead runner at third base. So Langford did the right thing. Immediately show those umpires that ball is out of play or bounced up out of there. So there's no question if they know what you're talking about, the ground rule double.
Dustin's going to the full windup here against Matt Lutton, and a backdoor breaking ball for a strike. That was a good one. 87 miles an hour on that hard slider. Lutton 0 for 3 today. This guy's a tough little leadoff guy, and he's got some power. He's hit 10 homers, 50 runs batted in. Now, he doesn't always bat leadoff, but he is right now. Foul ball, fair bat. How'd that ball stay in the park, Al? He broke his bat in half.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's what Julio Lugo's bat looked like when he hit a grand slam at Enron Field for the Astros. It literally was in half, and the ball left the ballpark in left field. Right here, see if he doesn't hit it right off the end of the bat. And with these real thin handles and most of the weight out on the barrel, and they're light to begin with, that's just a tailor-made, just breaking it, snapping it in 2.
Oh-2 pitch, and Lawton fouls one off, fighting off that high heater.
You know, Barry Bonds used a 34-30 before the All-Star break and a 34-29 afterwards. They used to tell us, representatives or bat companies used to say, whatever your length is, you have to have near the same amount of ounces so you'll have good solid wood. So we used to use like a 34-34. There were guys.
Isn't Barry using that maple bat some guys are using
and you
now?
know what? Everything used to be white ash, but there are new woods that are being used now. Some of the harder woods, and some people think maple is one of those hardwood bats that maybe you get a little better wood. We saw Juan Encarnacion,
who's in a big-time slump.
Yeah, but he was using a yellow bat.
Yeah.
I wondered what kind of wood that one was.
Here's a 2-2. Little bit inside. That fills the count. This one will be worth another look.
Well, all of a sudden, you know, our cameras are a little bit off center, but that pitch right there, and all you're asking for is consistency. And you don't want to say all of a sudden when the game's on the line that strike zone change.
Here's a 3-2. Lawton fights off another.
I had a player on the Cardinals try to tell me that the big difference is when you have a bat contract, for, say like for Rawlings, they have a super dip that they put on.
Swing and a miss and a high hard one. 3 hits in the inning for the Twins, and they do not score. Dustin Hermanson, 4 strikeouts on the day. It's time for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. 5-0 Cardinals. Every Friday night during the season, Busch Bash Night here at Busch Stadium. Come to the Southwest Airlines Family Pavilion Friday nights through the season. Pre-game party, live bands, former players. Win tickets for the Busch Bleacher Zone. And you can win up to $5,000 courtesy of Busch Beer every Friday night. Cardinal 5th inning, Al, the decisive frame in this one, it appears.
Well, Dustin Hermanson got things started with a little flare out to center. Then Vina, he gets a double out into the gap. And look at Polanco, his 3rd hit of the ball game, and scores the first run. And Edmonds gets a sacrifice fly out in the left center. McGuire, a base hit. Then there was the Pujols. There's McGuire, right?
That's Pujols.
And look. And then Langford gets the big blow at 2 RBIs and this single up the middle.
I love the sound of that ball hitting that bat. Haven't heard a lot of it.
After that, Renteria got a base hit in the right, but no more score.
Here's McGuire, and he faces Jack Crescent, 3rd Minnesota pitcher, 26-year-old right-hander out of New Orleans. They got him off waivers from the Red Sox last year. And Big Mac followed by Pujols and Langford here in the 7th. That one is inside, ball 2. Jack Crescent, 21st game, 2-1. Pretty good ERA. One of their middle to setup guys, their closer is a hard-throwing righty, LaTroy Hawkins. 2-0 pitch. They also have a very good situational lefty in their bullpen, a veteran who spent his entire major league career with the Twins by the name of Eddie Guardado.
Guardado always comes over and talks to me.
Those lefties stick together, huh? Big Mac taking on 3-0. Well, the Twins don't dazzle you. All they do is win, but the Cardinals have jumped on them here today. 3 balls and a strike to Mac. Shift is on. A swing and a high fly ball. Right back here by us.
Well, Mac talks about how he's picked up so many bad habits. Now, why? See how he's got the weight shift always coming forward? He never hit that way before. He was always planted on that back foot. That back foot never moved.
Mark's got a leadoff walk here in the 7th. Maybe the Cardinals aren't done with their offense today. Minnesota and the Cardinals were involved in an interesting situation here 4 years ago. The Cardinals, going into the All-Star break, were under 500. They swept the Twins in an interleague series here. We're feeling pretty good about things. Cardinals were the defending champions of the National League Central. And Al, I'm sure you remember this, because you and I sat here for a lot of it. The Pittsburgh Pirates came to town
and beat the Cardinals 4 in a row, and that was pretty much it for the '97 season.
I was not here. I was on my way to Japan, and I end up seeing the Saturday game.
Yeah, it was on national TV.
I was in Okinawa, and I saw the Eckersley gave up the home run. I think about 6:30 in the morning.
And really, that was the last time the Cardinals were anywhere near contending in the '97 season. Here's the 1-1 pitch. There's a drive to left field by Pujols. How about his last 2 at-bats? Gashing the ball down the left field line for a double. This one a solid single out to the gap. And the Cardinals have first and second, nobody out.
You hate to put more emphasis on this young man because he's done such a great job, but there's a fastball right down the middle of the plate. Hands are aligned, and he's starting to just get pitches, able to drive the ball again. All he needs is a little confidence factor, and with these 2 hits the last 2 times, a 2-for-4 night, he's already set the rookie record yesterday. I think you're going to see him relax and become the productive player once again. But how much more can you ask of a 21-year-old batting, 4th, 5th in the lineup all the time?
He's batting around 325 now with his 2-for-4 today. Here's Ray, who's 2-for-3, and he's batting 249. Get Ray up over 250 and let him go from there.
And we talked about McGuire with the problems he's having. Well, that's what Ray had the last couple of years. After his knee surgery, he picked up so many bad habits trying to make adjustments, trying to do things because he couldn't hit the way he normally hit. Oh, man.
Ray can't figure that one out. Strike 2. Mark Barron has had a fluctuating strike zone today. Pretty much everything he calls strikes are out there against lefties or righties. So it forces Langford to swing on 0-2, and Ray's gone for the first out. Next up, Edgar Renteria.
Ray said at times he felt like he forgot about how to hit. See how that knee just collapses there? And of course, it's got to put a hitch. Your head's got to move. Your eyes are bouncing. And you lose contact with the ball coming in.
Here's Renteria, who's hit the ball the opposite way his last 2 times today. By the way, the Royals settled for 1 in the 7th. Cubs did not score, bottom of the 7th. Now the Royals did not score in the top of the 8th. So it's getting late for the Cardinals to pick up a game on the Cubs. 1-0 to Edgar. We're doing our part here. Renteria fouls it off his foot. And of course, interleague play will be ending in a couple of days. Then it's back to playing within our division. There's our in-game box score today. Vina and Polanco. By the way, that's 11 3-hit games for Polanco this year.
Most on the club, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Ray with 2 ribbies. Dustin Hermanson scoring a run, the first run of the game, actually. And the 1-1 to Edgar. Third baseline. Should be 2. Rivas turns it 5-4-3, and the Cardinals have hit into 3 twin killings today. Good thing they had that big 5th inning. And we played 7 at beautiful Busch Stadium on a great baseball Sunday afternoon. Cardinals still lead 5-0. This portion of Cardinal baseball on WB11 brought to you by Bank of America. We find financial solutions that fit you. And by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. For tires and complete auto service, all you need is Dobbs. Stan the Man out on the Plaza of Champions. Bob Carpenter, Al Roboski, Rich Gould, our Bud Sports production crew here at the ballpark today. And a good one for the Cards. They've out-hit the Twins 13-6 and lead 5-0. And as Steve Klein continues to throw, Dave Duncan and company will have their eyes on Dustin Hermanson here in the 8th. He gave up 3 hits with no runs in the 7th. And he's got their 2, 3, and 4 batters. There's another first pitch strike for Hermanson.
8 times Dustin has pitched 7 innings, but never more.
Well, 1 out will take care of that. There's a changeup. It was hanging up and in, and off balance. Rivas couldn't pull the trigger, and quickly he's 0-2. Well, no doubt about it. Get ahead in the count, and the opponent's batting average a lot lower. It's interesting that he gives up more home runs ahead in the count than he does behind. Is that right?
Well, I think that's just more of a case where not concentrating when he's ahead in the count at times and makes that big single mistake.
Dustin Hermanson's given up 17 home runs this year. Mike Matheny must tell himself, Al, there's always somebody on base.
Well, he's got such tremendous pride. Look at him hustle here. Nobody on base. Nobody's going to advance.
He wanted to get the appeal going right away.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons. You know, he got 2 strikes.
That ball well hit. Pujols drops it. And down to second base, Rivas. Albert got there. And against the right-handed batter, that thing probably slicing on him just a bit. And he drops it. We'll see how they score it. You would think error. It looked like a makeable play.
Well, see, you got to remember which way it's going to slice. He's running that way, and it's going to slice away from him. But got an awful lot of glove. It's over out on the fingertips. And this drive does knock out Dustin out of the game. If he's going the other way, running back the other way, he probably makes that catch easily.
Dustin Hermanson will get a great hand from the Cardinal crowd here. 7+, 6 hits, 4 strikeouts, 3 walks, 2 double play balls. He's well in line for his 7th win of the year. Hermanson does a great job. Congrats from his teammates. It's in the hands of Steve Klein when we come back.
Well, Steve Klein is appearing for a National League high 52nd ball game. You see 3 saves. He picked up number 3 yesterday. Pros are batting .211 against him, and left-handers are batting a total of 111. 7 for 63. Pitched in 41 in the 3rd innings, and see the numbers. While the Klein is seeing his warm-up pitches, here you see the communication between the veteran outfielders. We're talking with Pujols. They called him over, and they're talking exactly what we talked about. Right-handed batter, that ball's going to slice into the corner, and he turned the opposite way. He put his back to the corner. If he would have thought about that with a right-handed batter, you turn and face the corner, then the glove hand is right there, your right hand, and it's a much easier play for you. So those are little things, and yet it's hard to criticize Pujols for the fact that he's played 4 different positions this year and never really stayed in one. And remember, his best position is 3rd base.
Doug Minkiewicz for the Twins. Tough matchup for him. Lefty-lefty. He's walked and singled, and a ground out today.
I thought we showed a graphic earlier in the game where he's actually hit better against left-handers than right-handed pitching.
Pujols, by the way, his 18th start of the year in right field. He's been in left field 6 times. So 24 games in the outfield as a starter this year. And the 0-1 pitch. That's a breaking ball from Steve that's outside. 1-1. And the Royals have not been able to score. The Cubs win that game in Chicago 2-1. So the Cards will have to hold on and win here to stay 8 back in the National League Central. And the news from Houston, not very good either. Astros just got 3 in the bottom of the 5th, and they lead the Indians 4-1.
You know, Bob, this game we try to reduce it down to simplicity. You know, catch the ball, throw the ball, hit the ball. If you're chasing a couple clubs, and we got to chase Houston and also the Cubbies.
That ball pretty well hit to left, but Ray Langford is backpedaling. That's the Sun Field in this ballpark. And look at the base running play, a good one by Luis Rivas to get to 3rd with 1 out.
All right, you backpedal on a ball, you're not going to have a lot on your throw. So If you saw Steve Klein after this, see you backpedal like this, well, go ahead and tag up. You can tell he's underneath it, and then you won't have anything on your throw. If you're that runner out there, you know, why not take advantage? Well, he sees, okay, I can see he's going to catch it, but the way he went after it, I can also go to third base, and he can't get me.
Even down by 5, the Twins take 90 feet whenever you give it to them. And here's Corey Koski with 60 RBIs, a chance to get them on the board.
And you watch Steve Klein right now. He'll be in a killer attack mode because part of his incentive is that he does not want that run to come in, even though it's an unearned run because he reached on an error. He does not want that run to come across. Use every little motivational factor you can get.
Yeah, and that run wouldn't even be charged to him.
Well, but that's the kind of guy he is. You don't want to charge to the team. You want to preserve. You want to be part of a collective shutout.
No balls and 2 strikes to Koski. Torrey Hunter, their cleanup man, on deck. Top of the 8th, Cardinals lead 5-0 with a 5-run 5th. 0-2 pitch. He offered. Did he go? No, says Phil Cuzzy.
What I was going to say is when you're chasing a couple clubs and reduce things down to simplicity, all right, after today, there's 11 weeks left in the season. All you got to think about in terms of picking up at least 1 win per week, 1 more game on the leaders per week.
1-2 pitch. You know, that sounds a lot less daunting, Al, that when people say, well, the Cardinals have to play 700 ball to get to 90 wins. When you put it in those terms, it sounds impossible. But when you put it in the term you just talked about, it seems very doable.
Well, if they played 500 baseball, you got to play 1 game over 500.
Right.
If they
Every
are 3
week,
and 3 for a week, if they're 4 and 3, you got to be 5 and 2.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Corey Koski. 1 on, 1 out.
All starts with winning the game you're playing today.
2-2 delivery. Way outside, and Matheny, I mean, he was way out of the box by the time he was finished with that one. Now the count goes 3-2.
Toughest ball for is a left-handed breaking ball. I mean, you just don't know which way it's going to spin. And sometimes it almost has a reverse spin, and Mike Matheny just saved a run right there with another Matheny-like effort.
Yeah, that's a good adjective. Matheny-like.
Another slider.
3-2. Swing and a miss, and Koski is gone. 2 outs here in the 8th.
You know, a lot of hitters, they're working away, predominantly with breaking balls, and yet some hitters don't try to go with a pitch. They'll try and hook it, pull it, trying to say, well, I got a runner at third. I can hit either a sacrifice fly or I can pull it to second base and score him. Well,
yeah, then you're gone.
You got to do with what the pitcher will give you, too.
It'll be up to Torrey Hunter for the Twins to see if they can get on the board here in the 8th. Klein with a sinking fastball misses. Torrey Hunter 0 for 3 today. Twins only have 6 hits, 3 of them coming in a scoreless 7th inning when a double play really hurt them. A leadoff single, then the double play, then a single, a double, did not score. A 1-0 pitch. The finals rolling in. White Sox won at Milwaukee 3-2. That'll keep the Brewers behind the Cardinals, probably by 2 games now. Devil Rays won 9-1 at Atlanta today. In some interleague action. The Atlanta pitcher was Odalis Perez. And that one hit the batter, evidently. Yes, it did. Klein boring that ball in on the right-hander, and he plunked him.
It's that breaking ball, and you think if you move the front foot, you're going to be okay. Where's the sniper at?
Man,
Well, that's, you know, you lift that front leg up, you can't move until you bring that back down. And it just hit the back leg, didn't it?
Yeah, and you know, and a breaking ball, it gets there a little slower, but it's not that much slower. I mean, it's not like you have 2 extra seconds.
Hits you on the
You have a
skin.
few extra fractions.
Hit you on that bone or something. And I always thought that was whoever made the statement, you know, don't rub it, don't show pain, was the guy that didn't get hit.
Yeah, that's right. Denny Hocking, a veteran switch hitter for the Twins, will pinch hit here for Jacques Jones. Denny Hocking, another former #1 draft choice. Well, a draft choice, I should say, not #1. He came up from the lower ranks. This guy was drafted in the 52nd round back in '89. Took him about 5 years in the minors to make it to the big leagues.
Kind of guy that hard-working guy that just keeps on impressing his manager at the minor league level and keeps on giving an endorsement.
And Jacques Jones out of the game, who for the most part has been totally inept against left-handed pitching this year, batting about .040.
He's 3 for 39.
Man.
And Hocking is a .273 hitter. We'll probably see him play some shortstop with Guzman being out in the series.
No balls, 2 strikes. And some high gas from Steve Klein.
Of course, the Twins got some real good news on their young shortstop, the All-Star Guzman, where they thought he might be out for the year with a shoulder problem, and found out it's just a strain and will likely be out just 2 weeks. And they don't know when he hurt it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Some other finals today. We told you the Cubs beat the Royals at home 2-1. Red Sox won 8-5 at Montreal. That series, Montreal just concluded with Tampa Bay. 3 games, they drew a total of 14,000 people for the entire series.
They didn't pay expenses.
Man. Tigers win at Cincinnati 8-5.
Look at it, they got a 5 spot on the top of the 9th.
Wow.
Cincinnati.
That's after the Reds did that to the Indians yesterday to beat them 6-5 eventually. 6-2 Mets beat the Blue Jays. 9-3 Phillies beat the Yankees.
The Phillies are in first place.
Yeah, they're hanging.
Boa finally has been ejected.
90 games into the season. Yeah, Al, I was there in May, and they had a newspaper poll going. Predict the first day Larry Boa will be thrown out of a ball game. I don't think anybody would have said July 15th or July 14th. 2-2 now to Hocking. The count was 0-2. Runners at the corners, 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. And Denny Hocking pops it up on the infield. It's Venus. Fernando's got it. And the Cardinals have given up nothing through 8. Steve Klein helping out his infielders here. Who's got it? I know. It's Venus. And we stay 5-0. Bottom of the 8th inning, 5-0 Cardinals. Along top of the 8th. Redbirds don't give up a hit. Tomorrow night, Cardinals tonight, 6:30, with the pregame show on Fox Sports Net. It'll be Bud Smith, 1-0, good ERA, 3.52. Adam Johnson for the Twins will make his major league debut. This series will wrap up Tuesday night with Darryl Kyle against Kyle Losey. And the Cardinals will throw Mike Matthews and Matt Morris at Houston Wednesday and Thursday. Dustin Hermanson just headed for the clubhouse, and he's well in line to even his record at 7-7. Bottom of the 8th, Mike Matheny leads off. Kerry Robinson will bat next, and Dave Veers is throwing in the Cardinal bullpen. Big breaking ball from Jack Crescent in there. Mike Matheny 0 for 3 today.
Nice catch and a shutout, so he has obviously contributed here.
That he has. He gets jammed, bounces it. That ball stays down, and that'll get him a hit. It must have hit the lip of the grass. Corey Koski was expecting that nice big hop, and then the ball just hugged the dirt after that.
Off-speed pitch inside, and there it stays right on the lip and submarines on Koski. Expecting it to come up a little bit, hits that lip and just stays down, gets underneath him, and Maxwell, he smothered it but couldn't stay on his feet.
Here's Kerry Robinson, and he takes a strike in the outside corner. Kerry 8 for 21 as a pinch hitter this year. He has just done everything we hoped. He's a .381 batter as a pinch hitter.
Robinson hit his lone home run against an American League Central opponent, the White Sox Kelly Wunsch, on Father's Day, and his father is here again tonight, this afternoon.
They're going to jam him on 0-2, and he fights it off. A 360-foot blast down the right field line. National League pinch hitters. Heath Lockhart has been a great utility guy for years with the Royals and now the Braves. Brady Clark, a young man that we don't know a whole lot about, and I bet they don't know a whole lot about Kerry, but we do. And he's 0-2 now with the leadoff man aboard. He lines one to right field. That ball is caught by Matt Lawton with a good read. Kerry has really been robbed of some hits this year. He's been hitting the ball well.
Kerry went out there, hit the ball a little bit too hard, had a ball that was down, kind of out underneath it, hit it right on the nose, but it carried well enough for Lawton to track it down.
Here's Fernando. What a good day he's had. Pena 3 for 4. Batting average has jumped up 5 points today.
The Cardinals have 14 hits, and 6 of them by their first 2 men in the order.
Fernando's had 16 multi-hit games this year. That may not sound like a lot, but there's a lot of games when he'll get a walk or he'll get a hit by pitch. And really, for a guy like Fernando, that's as good as a hit. Had a 10-game hitting streak come to an end yesterday, and he batted .381 over that time. 1-0 to the Cardinals' second baseman. Pops it up a mile high on the infield. Minkiewicz making the call. That's the second out. And next up is Polanco. Two outs, a runner at first base. Polanco 3 for 4 today. He's now batting .331. He's got a lot of hitting room over there with Minkiewicz holding Mike Matheny. And a breaking ball drops in for a strike. In the ninth, the Twins have the bottom of their batting order. Jason Maxwell, Tom Prince, and then a pinch hitter for Jack Crescent.
Nice sized crowd here today, and we probably must be getting close to the 2 million barrier.
44,593, and the Cardinals go just over 1.8 million with that crowd today. So the Cardinals will reach 2 million by the time the next homestand is over. And the count's 2-1 on Placido Polanco. The crowd just kind of relaxed over on the first base side, sitting in the shade. 8th inning, enjoying a 5-0 lead, which is not a familiar feeling lately. So this is one we need to savor while it's happening. And as Al mentioned, with a lot of kids here on Jim Edmonds Rawlings Bat Day, got to get the first one of this series, then grab the next one or two. Polanco pops one up over the left field side. Jason Maxwell out to grab it, and we have played 8 full at Busch Stadium. Cardinals have stranded 9 runners today, but they played at 5 in that 5th inning. Time to nail this one down. Dave Beers next. Well, Ray Lankford, a big man in this game today. And how about our play of the game? Brought to you by Budweiser. The crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you.
Ray Lankford, that base hit up the middle, scores 2, and that gave the Cardinals a 5-0 lead. Boy, Hermanson was spectacular, pitching 7 innings, and then plus, and then Klein came in for the 8th inning. Well, this will be a team victory with a lot of offensive support, and Ray Lankford, one of the key guys we need to get going. Dave Beers will be here for the 39th time. He has lost a game. That was in Cleveland. Home run to Tomey. ERA 3.22. He has 11 saves and 13 opportunities. Opponents batting .216 against him. He has a strikeout per inning and a little better than 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Not a save situation here.
Cardinal baseball on WB11 KPLR TV St. Louis. Hope you've enjoyed it wherever you are on this beautiful Midwest Sunday on the Cardinal Television Network. A guy who was in spring training for a while with the Cards and didn't make the club will be the Twins pinch hitter here. Several weeks ago, they called up Quentin McCracken from their Salt Lake AAA club. And the little guy who can pinch hit, switch hit, run, will lead off. He's a .228 batter. He's had a couple of hits and 5 at-bats as a pinch hitter.
And overall, he's 13 for 57 with 3 RBIs and a .228 average.
Then they'll pinch hit their other catcher next, A.J. Pierzynski.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dave Beers is not used in closed situations for a brief period of time.
And the reason for that?
Well, he's just seemed like he's just a little bit of ineffectiveness of late and not making good pitches. We've seen Steve Klein, who has had a very, very steady season, and Mike Timlin is pitching some of his best baseball of late.
Yeah, Timlin was spectacular last weekend in Cleveland. Cardinals managed 1 week ago today to salvage the final game of that series and get into the break at 500. There's big, tall Texan Mike Timlin. Here's a 2-1 to McCracken. Beers misses up and away, ball 3.
Tom Kelly's club is very disciplined. These guys know when you're trailing that you got to go up there and give yourself a hitting count, and they'll ask their hitters not to swing until they get at least strike 1.
There's strike 2. By the way, good news from Houston. Indians picked up 2 in the top of the 6th, so they're a little closer. Astros lead the Tribe 4-3. Cardinals are 5 games back of the Astros. They can't gain ground on the Cubs, but they could on Houston. 3-2. Out of play as McCracken fights it off. Well, is there anything else we haven't talked about today? I think we've covered all the bases.
Well, we talked up to the point of the Cardinal victory.
Yes, sir. Cardinals are trying to get their 5th shutout of the year.
And even their record back at 45 and 45.
Full count. Nobody out. And he walked him. Leadoff man aboard. So now they've got the pinch hitter McCracken on base. Now they're going to bring in their young catcher, left-handed hitting A.J. Pierzynski. And then next, they'll have a young outfielder, Chad Allen, pinch hit in the number 9 hole.
Normally, we prefer to see a left-handed batter face Dave Veers, but Dave does not really have the command of his pitches right now the way you'd like him to. And just one of those little mini slumps. Hitters go in slumps, pitchers can do the same.
There's some activity in the Cardinal bullpen. I think Jason Christensen just popped up. And ball 1 to Brzezinski. Really no reason to hold the runner. Mark McGwire backing about 10 feet behind Quentin McCracken to keep a ball out of the right field corner, especially with a big left-hander in there. Good changeup by Veers, looked like a forkball, and he took a little bit off. And Brzezinski swinging right over the top of that thing.
Interesting to see if Tom Kelly doesn't get on his young catcher a little bit about showing the discipline. You know.
Yeah, might have been ball 2.
He obviously wasn't going up there looking for that one.
Now he hits one foul outside first. Counts 1 ball and 2 strikes here in the ninth. Baltimore and Florida are scoreless early. No score after 2.5 there. Dodgers at Pittsburgh later. Arizona later at Seattle. San Francisco later at Texas. San Diego later at Anaheim. And they're 1-1 at Oakland. Rockies and A's after 3. So now you're up to date on all the baseball today. Cubs won their game at home 2-1. Astros are ahead by 1 in the middle innings. 1 ball and 2 strikes. There have been reports of some closers who might be changing addresses. We are 2 weeks away from the trading deadline. So things are going to start heating up pretty soon. 1 and 2, they're going to jam him. And that's hit on a hop to McGwire. To short, high throw, and Renteria tiptoes his way back to the bag. Edgar Barishnikov Renteria with a nice play on a not real good feed by Mark McGwire.
Yeah, but it shows a perfect reason why you play behind the runner. You can't make this play if you're sitting there holding him on first base. And really, McCracken tried to do whatever he could to screen that ball from Mark. He got it in there. He's standing flat-footed, and the ball sails on him. And there's what you're talking about, the Barishnikov. What kind of pirouette is that? You know, with a toe hold there. Just got the toe down after it went up for the high throw.
I'm not up to date on my latest ballet terminology.
I thought you would be.
But it was a good play.
We could talk to Tony. You'd know.
Yeah. His daughters are ballerinas. And now that's a wild pitch by Veers and puts Brzezinski at second base.
I'll never see us ever criticize Matheny when a ball gets away. Look at how he tries to go over there and backhand it. It's also that split finger where you don't sure where it's going to do, but you very rarely see a ball bounce and hop that high.
1 on 1 out, man at second, top of the ninth. Cardinals lead by 5. Allen with a base hit up the middle. They will hold the runner at third. First and third for the Twins. Still only 1 out here in the ninth. So 2 of their 3 pinch hitters get on base. And now it's the top of the order for Matt Lawton. And Jason Christensen is just about ready, probably already is, in the Cardinal bullpen. And here comes Tony La Russa. He's going to make the move immediately. Well, Al, you chronicled things pretty well. Dave Veers struggling, a walk, a wild pitch, and a base hit in a third of an inning here in the top of the ninth.
Well, it's important, though. Tony showed confidence to bring him in the game and let him close out a victory. And it's just a mild setback when you don't get the job done.
Well, better to have Dave work things out when you're up by 5. Veers fails to complete the game. Christensen on a late afternoon Sunday in St. Louis. Cardinal baseball, Twins and the Cardinals. Cardinals tonight at 6:30 on Fox Sports Net with Joe and Al. And the Cards and the Twins will play Game 2 of this series. Game 3 Tuesday, then on to Houston for a couple. Jim Edmonds, Rawlings, game usable bat day here at the ballpark for 20,000 lucky young Cardinal fans.
And tomorrow night, hopefully, we're going to be talking about a 2-game winning streak. Mason Christensen appears for the 24th time. He has 1-1, 1 save. Opponents are batting 232 off him. Only 15 innings of work in those 23 appearances, 13 hits, 3 home runs, which is very uncharacteristic for him. In 300 career innings, he's only allowed 24. This is not a save situation. But more importantly, you want to close out a victory, 2 outs to go.
Well, my partner will have plenty to talk about tomorrow night with Bud Smith throwing again for the Cards. Adam Johnson for the Twins, his major league debut. Bud Smith 8-5 at Memphis in the first half. Here's Matt Lawton, runners at first and third, 1 out. Polanco even with a bag at third. McGuire behind the runner at first. Christensen coming home. And Lawton lays off ball 1 high. What's going on in Houston? Well, the Astros been batting for a while in the bottom of the 6th. Still 4-3 Astros over the Indians.
Just looking, Adam Johnson was the first-round draft pick of Minnesota's 2nd overall in the June 2000 draft.
Wow, fast track to the big leagues, huh?
Yeah, he was at Fort Myers, their single-A club last year. 13 games, 12 starts.
A high bouncer. Probably only one here. Vigna throws to first. Cardinal fans claiming that runner's out of the baseline. A run does score, and it's now a 5-1 game. So an RBI grounder by Matt Lawton.
There they get him out there. They try to get the runner. Here he's coming home. So they get on the scoreboard 5-1, but the Cardinals get a very valuable out. 26th out of this game and 1 to go.
Luis Rivas the batter. 2 outs in the ninth. Cardinals are 1 out away from saying hello to 500 again. A non-save situation also for Christensen. The tying run was not in the on-deck circle when he came in. So Hermanson will be 7-7. Joe Mays will be 11-6. And here's the 0-1 from Christensen to Rivas. One ball, 1 strike to Luis Rivas. 0 for 3 with a walk. And some high heat from the left-hander Christensen for strike 2. All right, folks, on your feet, wherever you are, either at home or here on the ballpark. And 2 outs, 2 strikes in the ninth. Got a 44, 593. Some of them have headed home with a comfortable 5-0 lead. And maybe those who remain will see the last pitch right here. 1-2 coming. And a foul on a pretty good hack by Rivas.
See, Christian is saying my fault because Matheny was asking for the ball up, wanted to go up the ladder on him, and he got a ball that was in Rivas's wheelhouse, but he just fouled it straight back.
Runner at second, 2 outs, a run home here in the top of the ninth. And the count still 1-2. Got him, and the Cardinals win it. 3 hours and 1 minute, and a 5-1 win out, and a 1 big, huge inning got things settled for the Cards today.
What I said, we got to start winning the first game of the series, then you try to push hard for the second game, and this is a real good game. One of the few times we've seen in a while where we had very good pitching, timely hitting, good offense. It all came in one inning, though, and we caught the ball extremely well. So you can build off of this one, and we're 2-2 in the second half and back to 5.
Twins strand 10 runners today and lose to the Cardinals 5-1. We've got more from Busch Stadium. The Redbirds winners. Score of 5-1, a good start to this series. The homestand even now at 2 wins and 2 losses. And the Cardinals, as we mentioned earlier, Al, have to take advantage of this stretch. Now 4 games of that 13 have been played when the Cardinals will play 11 of those at home coming out of the break, and good pitching normally makes things a little easier.
Well, Dustin Hermanson had been struggling. He'd been pitching well, but he got things started in the Cardinals' big 5-inning fifth. He got the base hit to lead off the inning, but the real story for Hermanson was his dominance on the mound. 7+ innings of shutout baseball, and he picks up his big win, and he is now 7-7 on the season.
Dustin Hermanson gets himself back even, gets the Cardinals back even at 45-45. Cards stay 8 back of the Cubs. Final words in a few minutes. Cardinal baseball on WB11, brought to you today by Budweiser. With a crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. By Southwest Airlines, celebrating 30 years of freedom, 30 years, one mission, low fares. By AutoZone, the right part, the right price, and good advice. And by your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on WB11. 5-1 Cardinals, and they played awfully well today on a good Sunday for baseball here at Busch Stadium. Pena had a couple of good hits, the defense was good, and the pitching outstanding today. Cardinals are back to the 500 mark, and don't forget Fox Sports Net with the next in a premium right now. The Redbirds